Alright, so I'm going to wait for some people to get in here. But we have an active shooting right now in a high school in Colorado. And I almost had to double check the time because right now, I mean, kids should be getting out of school at that time. So this broke 22 minutes ago and it is 5:09. So they're 2 hours behind there, I believe. So it will be 3:09. But that's when it broke. So maybe it started happening just before that, maybe 2:45. So just as the kids are getting out of the school, you would think this is going on. I hope that this is going out to people. Is this going out? Am I live here? Everyone see this? Everyone here? People here? People here? Okay, this is a real thing. This wasn't just a rumor. This is real. There's an active shooter, and I just checked YouTube. I don't see it anywhere else. Did you guys see this anywhere else? I don't see it anywhere else. I just did a search. So the only problem I'm gonna have is I'm right now alone with the baby, but I'm gonna manage that. So I'm gonna report this, and I'm going to be taking care of this situation. So right now there is an active shooter. And this active shooting is happening at a high school called STEM High School. Now, we know that we heard about just only a couple of weeks ago. Sorry for the background. But it is what it is. So, this started happening. I mean, we heard about the woman who, an 18-year-old girl, for some reason, was determined to go to Columbine, and they found her a credible enough threat that they basically put out an APB across the whole nation to find her. And now there's an active shooting actually happening right in that area. And we're gonna, I'm gonna get you guys. I'm gonna start sharing the screen first. So we'll go straight to sharing. Okay, so we'll check this out, right? Okay, so active shooting here. What is this? So STEM High School, Highlands Ranch. Okay, so here's where it's located. First of all, it's right outside of Denver. So this is STEM High School. Wow. Look at this. What is up with the school shootings around here? So, okay, Aurora. That was not a school shooting, but that was a, come on, Olivia, let's go. What do you want? You want a apple juice? What do you want? What do you want? Okay, yeah, I'll get that. Okay, let me get it. That I got it. All right. Oh, you know what? Not that one. What's that? Let me see. No. Let me see. Here, let me take. Yeah, no. Yeah. Where's your chicken nugget? Again. Okay, so sorry guys. All right, so the Aurora. If you remember Aurora, that was at during the Batman, the one with Heath Ledger. During that film, they had a shoot. Just look at this map. So there was a huge shooting there, right? And mind you, I'm sure you guys have heard, look up Denver International Airport. They have all kinds of blatant Illuminati and Luciferian symbolism all over their airport. And it's like there's something going on around here, I'm telling you. Then you look, Littleton. What happened in Littleton? Something happened in Littleton, Colorado as well. As you look at this map, this is just kind of stationary. All right, we'll pull up Google Maps ourselves, but I'm trying to see. I don't even know if Columbine. I don't know where that is in relation to this. Maybe I saw in chat that somebody actually lives close, 8 miles away. How far away is, not that it really matters, But it kind of matters because just looking at this map, like just looking at these towns, all I think of is shootings. And there happens to be a shooting unfolding right now, right there. So in chat, if you just want to share with everyone, I'll look at it after. The relation of Columbine to this area. So it didn't really look like, it looks like it might be in Littleton. But then again, you know what? I'm going to pull up my own Google Maps. But first, let's look into it. So I'll pull up Google Maps and we'll look into like exactly where it is. But let's get the latest on it. So it's being reported by the news in Colorado, and that's it. It's not been reported yet by, as far as I see, on the mainstream media, and I haven't seen anything on YouTube. So, you know, this is why I love breaking stories, but I hate it when it's stories like this. Multiple victims. Oh man, it's gonna be bad. That's how the worst ones start. Multiple. That's all you're gonna. At STEM school shooting near Denver. And this was posted an hour ago. So, yeah, they must have just been getting out of school. Police confirmed 2 suspects are in custody, and they're searching for a possible third. The number of victims is not known yet. That makes me almost see, at first, automatically, my mind goes to, you know, a troubled kid that I bet you $1 million went to a psychologist, okay? And, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that, it just gets, I'm not going to say it didn't happen, like Alex Jones said about other shootings. I have a theory that some of these people, there's some skull, signal to skull technology as well. But at the same time, sometimes things happen. I mean, at the rate that school shootings happen in this country, it doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. Now, I understand that we have certain rights where there's more weapons in the United States, but still, you would see, like, other methods of killing a bunch of people in school. I mean, in the Middle East, yeah, they'll bomb them, but, I don't know, it's just like, usually that's like a radicalized group. It's not some student there just decides to, because they're not being treated right. But this reads, when I see multiple suspects and a third suspect potentially, remember we were talking about a potential sleeper cells waking up across the country? I hope that's not what we're seeing. But I don't want to speculate too much on anything until we know more. I haven't even read this article yet. Police are investigating a shooting with multiple victims at STEM School Highland Ranch. So is it a high school? I'm assuming it's a high school. Could be any kind of school. Let's see. I'm surprised they don't tell you exactly what type it is. Someone wants to actually I'll Google it. Near Denver, local officials say 2 suspects are in custody, but the total number of victims is not yet clear. So that means it's bad. You got multiple shooters, you got multiple injuries. It could be a third on the loose. It's bad. The incident began at 1:53 p.m. on Tuesday, when officers were called for an active shooter at the Chata. Thank you. Yeah, it's good, huh? Sorry. The incident began, at 1:53 on Tuesday. So, it actually happened a little bit ago. So, I am 2 hours. It happened like an hour and a half ago. Which is located in the community of Highlands Ranch. Here's my answer. When officers were called for an active shooter at the charter school, which is located in the community of Highlands Ranch, it was not immediately known what led to the shooting. Unstable situation, shots fired at STEM school at Ridgeland and Plaza Avoid area, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office said in an alert on Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, medicine. You don't need it yet. Okay. She has a cold. It was said at least 2 people were injured, but unconfirmed reports indicate that there are additional injuries. A large number of emergency services have been called to the scene while officers work to secure the scene. 2 suspects are in custody and officers looking for a possible third suspect, the sheriff's spokesman said. The STEM school is being evacuated while other schools in the Douglas County School District are on lockdown. Parents of students at the STEM school have been told to go to the Northridge Rec Center to pick up their children. This is a breaking news alert. Please check back. Follow them. Blah, blah, blah. Wow. So, let's watch this covers live and see where they're at. Why all of a sudden all this? I am on Google Chrome. That's what doesn't make sense to me. I have Chrome. Right here. Sorry, guys. Let me try this again. It's driving me nuts. Alright, you know what? At least 2 people were injured. We know that. Oh, we want to. Alright, let's look at. First, let me pull up. Let me see what they got here. All right. 8 miles south of Columbine. This is according to one person. Although I don't really see it. Because 2 suspects, Colorado shooting, number of victims yet known. See, for things like this, when something's unfolding, the best place to be is Twitter. That's what, like, this. I don't really use Twitter. I for my day job, I use it for like betting on sports. Not actually betting, but like putting out potential bets. But that's not important. What's important is when you look at Red Pill Dispensary, I don't even know if I ever made a tweet. I mean, I might have commented on some stuff. But anyway, so far, still the same old news. Let's see this. It seems like they just don't want us to watch it. Well, you know what? Let's cut through the BS and go to what is this? Oh, that's an old. All right, here we go. So it's starting to get reported more widely here. Let's see if we can get any live, on the ground reactions. And I wonder, I would be very curious to know. I think that's my video. I would be very curious to know if, it says 0. I'm up and running, right, guys? Let me see what you guys got. Anything you guys got here? Let's see. Yeah, I'm live again. There's an active shooter. Yeah. 3 potential active shooters. 2 for sure. Okay. Yeah. Columbine just 10 miles. Okay. Someone else said 8 miles. Also, Columbine wasn't. See, that's why I was like, wait, wasn't Littleton? So it's right there. I mean, on the map, it looks like it's like 1 mile, but of course, this is over a huge space. So maybe it's not as close to Denver as I thought, but I mean, you see it all right on that map, right? Aurora, Littleton, now here. Now this will be the next one. I don't know what the town is, though. I saw that it's Douglas County. Yeah, they ended up finding that other girl dead. I should have added that part in. That woman, that poor little girl, obviously had some problems, or maybe she was supposed to be. Like I said, I do have a theory of mine where. Now listen, I'm not saying that all of them are caused by some type of, like, they see a psychiatrist. They're on some kind of medicine that activates something where, I know it sounds crazy, but there is technology that's voice to skull or signal to skull. That does exist. So first, let's be clear on that. That technology does exist. That's not something that's, like, up for debate. If you do your research, that does exist. So, with that existing, it's pretty sick to think that they would use it on our kids. But I have a theory that some of them are used in that way, and so the shooting will actually happen, but they all have the same story. They were seeing a psychiatrist. They were having trouble. They were kind of outcast. They're like perfect people for this type of stuff. And then you have an 18-year-old, and it's almost like one faction tried to set her off, while another faction found out and they're looking for her, and all of a sudden they find her suicided when she supposedly is going to Columbine on the anniversary to do something. And now here we are, only a couple of weeks later, and we have multiple shooters. This is organized. I mean, this isn't just a lone wolf like all the other shootings. This is different. This could be so many different things. So I don't think that this is one of those voice to skull things. Some of the other ones, yeah, but no. This is multiple. It would be too difficult, I would think, to pull this off with 2, maybe 3 people. They might not even be children shooters. They haven't specified on that. They could be adults. I mean, we were talking about all these sleeper cells across America because of they hid it. A lot of them would hide within the caravans. I mean, come on. You know how many countries hate us, and you don't think that they're going to organize something and put a lot of money into making this, finding somebody, that, is one of their people that looks enough like they're from, let's say, Guatemala or something like that, and mix them in with the crowd, and then all of a sudden there's all this funding for these people, and, they're being, like, funded and encouraged to join, and it just makes it easier to hide amongst them. It's a wolf amongst sheep who really are looking for help. But they're misguided because they're being told, come to America, you can come get help. California actually ends up promoting that message and making the propaganda real. But in reality, they were not, met with welcome arms. But at the same time, if they're claiming asylum, we have to take each case by case. And you gotta wonder, did some sleeper cells get through? Did three children really organize this? But so far, there's only 2 reported injured, although there may be additional. That's what we've been getting so far. I just want to check out chat because, sometimes you find the best information in chat. So I didn't know if chat had anything. Yeah, Charles, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I'll check out your channel. Actually, I think I know your channel from something else. But yes, it is. It's so sad. It's so sad. But, I always try to break stories and I try to do my best. But, it seems like outside of the initial reports, we're not getting much more. Let's see. Okay, now the numbers are rising, people. This is getting disgusting. These kids, and I have a feeling that these suspects are not kids, but we'll see. I can't speculate. I'm trying to report this honestly. So at least 7, possibly 8, are shot in shooting at STEM High School, Highlands Ranch. And that's coming from Heavy.com. It's a middle school. Alright, this isn't even a high school, it's a middle school. Oh man, this is getting worse and worse. Alright guys, stay tuned. We're gonna stick with this one. We were sticking with it no matter what, but now, alright, let's do our due diligence. Oh my. Okay, so this is a middle school. Alright, you know what? Which is what I did during the shooting in Florida. I went to the police scanners, and I heard live them capturing him and everything. But then they all of a sudden out of nowhere they blocked it. A lot of people got that idea, but let's see. Let's see what we got. I hope I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to be doing, but
You're almost done. Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
Wait, is this just a
You're almost done.
Yeah.
Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
Alright, sorry guys. You know what? Once people start
You're almost done.
Yeah, I
click
get it.
Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
Alright, now it's making me think.
You're almost done.
Radio
click
station.
The Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension.
Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, no, where did I listen before? I think this is it. Alright. Now,
Number train.
They already got to it. They already shut it down. See, I was able to listen to the whole thing before. The feed has disconnected from the server. This would be due to a power outage, network, or a server problem. Click OK to restart the player. Move down. See, they're shutting down the feed. I was hoping we could listen live to the police. Oh man, huh? Sorry guys, I just want to see if I can get this. If I can get a scanner going, and maybe if I'm registered, it'll help me. Alright.
You're almost done. Click the Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
See, this is something totally different. No, get out of here. Alright. Let me log in. It didn't even ask me for a password. Alright, you know what? They cut the feed anyways, but it says it has 10,000 listeners. I really want to see. This would be very interesting to listen live. But I think they know that I'm covering this live. Trust me. For anyone who's new to this channel, I am a former Navy cryptologist, military intelligence analyst. So, in collection, I had a top secret clearance in the Navy. So, you know, I worked in SIGINT, you know, signals intelligence. So, but it has this number here. But let me refresh. If that number doesn't change, then it's truly down. Yeah, it's down. Alright, guys, I tried. That should have been the first thing I did, but even then, they might have had it shut down. It's just during the Florida shooting, that horrible thing, I listened live as they were searching and then as they found him. So, active and unstable scene. So, at least 2 victims. Well, we got even more. We got. We'll keep. School shooting. Shots fired. Yeah, 2 are in custody, but there's a third. It doesn't look too unstable, but I think the unstable part is. It looks like this was freshly updated. Okay, at about 2 p.m., the Douglas County office put an alert tied to a shooting at a school with multiple injuries in Colorado. As of 3:25 p.m., which for me is 5:20, which is about 12 minutes ago, there were 7 confirmed injuries. Alright, so that sounds like we're going to be about around the 7 or 8. I think that, this is important. It isn't clear how serious the injuries are. At least 2 juveniles, I thought you were going to say were arrested. Were shot, according to 11 Pot News. At that time, search for a possible 3rd suspect was still underway with 2 suspects in custody. Do they elaborate? An official with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office said officers were still hearing gunshots as they were responding to the scene. Wow. this is still an active shooter situation. We still don't know whether there is still an active shooter inside, said a spokeswoman with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office just before 3 p.m. Do you know what that means, folks? They're saying, like a half hour ago, like when I went live, they're saying we don't know. They're saying we don't know if there's still an, because they don't know if there's reports that there's a third. So that's why I think they're saying it's unstable. That's why there's all this confusion. But it looks like we're gonna have, and this is a middle school, folks. They don't exactly say that in this article, but according to what I saw, oh my god, you know what? It's not even a middle school. Okay, let's keep. All right, we're gonna keep reading. If you guys read ahead, you'll see. The shooting happened at the STEM school at Ridgeline Plaza in Highlands Ranch at about 153. Highlands Ranch is a suburb of Denver. Authorities asked what is going on over there? Authorities asked the public to avoid the area. The sheriff's office said this is an unstable situation. And it strikes me that this happens right after that woman. They put a nationwide, APB on her, right? And they find her suicided in Colorado, in Denver, or wherever they found, it was in Colorado, though. And they find her suicided. And she was on her way there, and she was only, a 17 or 18-year-old girl, 18, I think. And, okay, here's the next part. Here's the part that I'm like, I don't even want to. Multiple rescue units were on scene treating the injured just before 3 p.m. The school has more than 1,850 students in kindergarten through 12th grade. So it started, I'm thinking, high school. Then it becomes middle school. Now we're talking kindergarten through high school. So they don't have middle school, they just have all of it in one. Which means these victims could range in ages from 6 to 17. We are making all of our public safety resources available. And I'm sorry, guys, for the music in the background, because I can only imagine it's kind of eerie, to have children music in the background. But I have my daughter here. If I'm gonna report this, I need to keep her at least entertained. I'm sitting in the kitchen reporting, watching her watch her show, and I'm sorry if it's eerie. Colorado Governor Jared Polis sent out the following statement at 3:05 p.m. We are making all of our public safety resources available to assist the Douglas County Sheriff's Department in their effort to secure the site and evacuate the students. We are monitoring the situation in real time, as we are. The heart of all Colorado is with the victims and their families. For parents, oh man. So, okay guys, for parents, if you are watching, STEM students can be picked up at a Northridge Rec Center, and that's at 8800 South Broadway, Highlands Ranch. Okay? Wow. Okay, so this article will be updated as more information becomes available. 11 News, multiple crews headed to the scene, and coverage will continue on 11 News at 4 p.m. Okay, so video unavailable. This is a local TV station. I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to check out a live newscast. Why is this being blacked out? Alright, let's continue. Like I said, Twitter, in an unfolding situation, Twitter is the best source of information. Now the Today Show is reporting it. I don't know what the Today Show is doing there. Okay, but the Today Show is reporting it. Please try a different web browser. I'm on Chrome. I mean, that is like the. What if I do this? Does that help my matter? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm on Chrome, so I don't really get what's going on with the videos here. DuckDuckGo. Let's just try this whole thing like this. Okay. Sorry, guys. You know what? Okay. I'm trying to like make sure I'm directly in Chrome, so we can watch any video we want. Either that, or they are, and I'm even using Google, which I usually use DuckDuckGo, but in this situation, they won't let you watch the video. So, although I have it, I think I spelled Twitter wrong, but it'll still come up. Okay, so Twitter. Wait, it's the email? Email, okay. You want caps, mate. Sorry, guys. Okay. So my full goal, is he talking about this? Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah, that's okay. Let's get away from this. So, guys, by the way, I know I'm the Red Pill Dispensary, but as far as Twitter, I'm the Red Pill Dispenser. If you guys just want to see my Twitter in case anyone's interested, not that this really matters right now, but just so in case people are, I'm the Red Pill News Dispenser on Twitter, on YouTube, and all of my emails. I'm the Red Pill News Dispensary. Okay, so that's the difference there. Now let's get up on this. Try a different search than we did before. You know what? This one doesn't bring a. You know what? Let's just put active shooter because you know what? Anything with active shooter, that's the best way to search. It's just search. We'll get the most results that way. At least I thought so. Let's see. No, latest. That's it. Okay, latest. All right, here we go. But the only thing is, we're gonna get every single person who tweets about it. See, some of these are old. Mother of student. I heard there's an active shooter, and that's the worst thing there is. Her daughter texted her to tell her that she was okay. Okay. We read that article. Is that me? Student. I heard there's an active shooter, and that's. Oh my God! So wow, thank you, Tammy, for sharing. Yeah, everybody share this. get this out there. People need to hear this, and they need to hear it live, because you know what happens with these things is afterwards, okay? The whole story kind of changes. It's like when it unfolds, you hear little bits of information that all of a sudden they're like swept under the rug later. So that's why we are updating. We are constantly checking in on this. That one complaint that always annoys me is why drills. This is the third active shooter type situation in just over a week. The first was in California at Chabad of Poway, the second at UNC Charlotte, and now this at a K through 12 school in Colorado. Very well informed, Sam. And she has a check mark. She seems very well informed. Possibly with an agenda. I mean, she seems like she had that ready to go, huh? Alright, but I'm not even gonna get into that type of stuff. Yeah, if you could share this, get this out there. Let me make sure I'm still live. Because you never know with a sensitive subject like this. We still, I don't want, why is Moth talking about this? It's trending. Are you guys still here? I don't see the chat moving. That's what worries me. I don't know if they shut down my feed. Huh. Did I get shut down? No, I'm still streaming, but I just wonder if it's still actually... Oh, okay. Alright. Good. Just making sure, because with a situation like this, you know, you never know. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Although, wait, you know what? That other browser... Where's the other browser? We're going to continue in Chrome. Because, in Chrome, at least we can watch all the videos. Let's see what people have to say about this. Active shooter, Highlands reports 2 children shot. Well, we're up to 7 or 8 now. Students rushed the shooters and disarmed them. Wow. So maybe they weren't. So, okay. So maybe my theory that they might have been adults. Okay, so, wow. So it just shocks me that children in a K through 12. So, you know, we don't even know how old these shooters are. You know, usually the shooter is related to the school. I mean, basically always. We don't even know how old they are. And they organized this, at least 2, maybe 3. Authorities still checking for other injured and shooters. Guns are not the problem, people. It's the behavior we allow and tolerate. Well, personally, I agree with that, but I'm going to withhold personal views and just report right now. Yeah, see, the arguing, this is what bothers me. Everyone, it goes straight to guns. You know, it's simple. TV to help educate reason. These should be a single vote, giving them much needed and deserved raise. Teaching these raises, not concealed weapon permits. See, this guy, you know, he doesn't care about these kids. Right away, I mean, whether I agree with him or not, which I may, you know, I just don't think that that's where you go right now. People are too quick to talk about that kind of stuff. You know, think about these poor kids. So these kids rushed the shooter and disarmed him. So now we have 7 to 8 suits. This is more accurate. And 2 shooters are in custody. What happened to the 3rd shooter is my question. Oh, it's so airy with that music in the background. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. False flag. Alright, well, you know, you never know. Let's see. So you guys have an idea of how people are reacting. They're kind of, yeah, people are disgusting, especially on Twitter. Okay. But yeah, please, guys, thumbs up. And I'm not saying a thumbs up the situation, but just thumbs up this video, share it. If you're new, this is what I do. I try to get out breaking news as it happens, as it unfolds. We try to figure it out as it happens. This is my sixth, actually seventh, but one of them is debated. First on the scene type of thing on YouTube. But I also do live call-in shows at night. I just want to at least people know who they're talking to, and I'm a former Navy cryptologist, which is military intelligence, and I had a top secret sensitive compartmentalized information clearance with a polygraph. So I have a certain perspective on things that I can share on different things, and a lot of people appreciate it, and the call-in shows are great. We have very educated and interesting callers that call in. So, anyone new, I just suggest you subscribe. But more importantly, just like it and share it. Let's get this out there. Look at this. Lockdown generation. Oh, that's that's interesting. That one's kind of catchy. Gun control now. See, that's where it starts going. The gun debate starts before while these children are, I don't even want to say it, but you know what I'm getting at. These children are not, they're still, see, the more people that start hearing about this, the more we're just gonna get like opinions and a bunch of crap, and people sensationalizing something disgusting. I want to see an actual. See, the only video I see is mine. I wish. What was that? KL. What was the name of that station? KL. TV KL. Maybe I could find it like this. Alright, yeah, I'm getting all kinds of crazy stuff with that one. Okay, there's a shooting right now in Colorado. Hey, hold on. There's a shooting right now in Colorado. Shoot a K through 12 school with multiple shooters. Hey, will you?
What is she doing? Alright, great. But what the fuck? What is she doing?
Hey, will you stop cursing in the background, please? I'm sorry, guys.
She's been watching the shit all day.
No, I've been with her. But look, I have to cover this. Just.
Yeah, but you've been sitting on the computer like.
With her. I'll handle that one later. Anyways, okay, so let's continue, guys. Look at this. Look at these poor kids. This is just... So CBS Denver. They all have to come with their hands up. Like, it's not traumatic enough. But, I think the reason is they were worried about a third potential shooter. So multiple students injured, Still trying to identify and locate shooters. Still active and unstable scene. Live report. Let's check that out. Oh, the keys. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, who is she to say anything? She showed up one day. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, me and you've been hanging out. Yeah, there's the keys. So let's check this out.
And that gives you a little bit of relief knowing that your children are being well taken care of by their teachers, and they have been through this, so they know where to go, how to do this, and how to hunker down until those sheriff's deputies come in and move them out safely.
All right. Covering breaking news. Welcome back, everybody. CBS 4 joining you. I'm Jim Beneman along with Karen Lee. We're going to be pushing back Dr. Phil. And right now we want to tell you the very latest on the school shooting down in Highlands Ranch. This happened at about 1:45 this afternoon. The STEM school in Highlands Ranch, that is at Ridgefield and Plaza Drive. If we can put up a map, we can let you know exactly where that is. We do know that if you are not familiar with the area, and it's a big suburb indeed, it is southeast of C-470 and Lucent Boulevard. So anyway, a lot of kids feed into there. It's a STEM school, but it's K through 12, so we're talking 1,800 kids. We do know that the call came into the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, 145 active shooter or shooters inside the school. A school resource officer for the district happened to be in the area, immediately raced in. Don't know if that was the first officer to engage the shooters, because we do know that a lot of deputies showed up shortly thereafter. Also heard gunshots from inside as they arrived. They too raced in to try and protect the kids and engage those shooters.
We want to start showing you some of the video that we have collected throughout this day. We want to put some of that up on the screen for you so that you can start seeing the scene. It's storming out there now, so they're moving all of the kids inside. But we have video of them, the parents, they're arriving at the school, then moving the children out. You can see those children moving out right now. They move them out and then they move them onto buses. Those buses then left the STEM school there at Highlands Ranch, left that school, and then they take them over to that rec center, which is at 8800 South Broadway. That's where the parents then have the opportunity to get and pick up their children and get brief there of the situation and what everyone has been through. This is a video from the school. You can see some parents were able to meet there with their high school kids. A lot of the high school kids were, off campus. We actually talked with 3 high school students who were just pulling up into the parking lot, getting ready to walk inside the school whenever they heard an announcement from the PA system there blaring about a shooter inside the school. Let's listen to that interview from a few hours ago.
Not any threats that particularly stood out. I mean, a lot of the students, at least in the culture of the school, because it's a very small school, we tend to make a lot of, crass jokes, and there's a kind of gallows humor associated with being in a school that has relatively rigorous academic standards. But the students we didn't really expect something like this, and we didn't hear any sort of threats. And obviously, there's a lot of things wandering around our minds, like who could have done this, why did it happen? But we have no idea. This was completely out of the blue.
What's the security like in the school? Is there a security guard? Is there a...
There's a counselor. We have multiple counselors, and we have security at the school as well. We don't have a resource officer, but we do employ security, yes.
Where did you head out to, and where are you going now?
We first just went the only way that we could, which was up the street behind the school, and we went into Chick-fil-A where they were really nice and they locked the doors, weren't going to let anyone in. And now I think we're going to go to Northridge because that's where the pickup is, so I can see my friends.
Have you been in touch with your families?
Yes, I've called my dad, my brother, my mom. I'm actually kind of concerned right now because we're hosting a foreign exchange French student, and I'm not quite sure how to get in contact with him, but he was in the building when it happened.
been listening there to Rick Salinger's interview from earlier with those high school students that had just happened to pull up there. They graduate this week. They are the end of school this week. They only have 3 more days of their senior year left.
Yeah, and as we talk about some of the reunions that we're seeing, obviously a great deal of relief among those families, but let's not forget the 7 to 8 people who were injured, wounded, or for whatever reason have found themselves at local hospitals. Certainly hoping that they can pull through, and there are a lot of families that are probably at the bedsides of those who have survived this but are needing medical attention right now, and our prayers go out to them. Right now, we want to send it out to Karen Morfitt, who is at the reunion point at that rec center at 8800 South Broadway. And Karen, it looks like the deluge that hit Rick Salinger at the school scene has also found the rec center.
Jim, making a bad situation worse. Many of these parents now waiting here for their students in the rain as they watch some of these buses kind of trickle in here. We haven't seen as many coming in as we did earlier. One just came in, and that's been, the last we've seen for several minutes. And so we're just keeping an eye on the number of students that are coming in. We haven't seen very many parents come out with their students having been reunited. And so one parent did mention to me that it is kind of a long process, that you basically have to register and let them know that you're here to pick up this student. And so many of them probably waiting to go through that process right now. You can see most of them now moving into that rec center. We had a number of folks waiting outside, some trying to take shelter just under the ledge of this rec center right here, but everyone definitely just hoping to be reunited as soon as they can. This has been a long afternoon for these parents. We're seeing a lot of them, some of them still kind of hanging around on their cell phones trying to stay in touch with folks, but it's been difficult to get some of the cell phone coverage here too, is what I've been hearing from some of the parents.
Karen, thank you so much for being out there. Please take shelter. We know there's a severe weather storm moving over that area right now. We want to get right over to our weather center where meteorologist Lauren Whitney is standing by. And Lauren, this is just dumping right on top of it.
It really is. You can see on our satellite radar over the Highlands Ranch area, we have some really heavy rainfall. There's been some small hail in that storm too. This is not a severe storm, but there has been some heavy rainfall, and there also has been a little bit of lightning in that region. So we just had a couple big thunder rolls here around the downtown area. I couldn't see the lightning because we don't have windows here, but in our studio. But you can see again there are a few lightning strikes here across the Front Range, up towards Commerce City, out towards DIA. We have some of those storms, but.
Okay, so while they're doing the news, I'm gonna check in on chat and see if there's anything coming up on that you guys are reporting. Let's see. Yeah, I do live streams at night. My daughter usually goes down around 9:30, 10, and then stuff I've been kind of researching throughout the day. Sometimes, usually, I have a couple topics ready, interesting topics. Real stuff, not the. I really get in depth on things, and it's raw, so be prepared. But and then I open it up for calls once I'm done with whatever I have to report for that day. Sometimes I have nothing. Like last night, I just had Richie from Boston. Yeah, actually, I've met Richie from Boston. I've been on his show. So yeah, I love Richie. Nice to meet you, Charles Harding, by the way. Richie from Boston, he's the man. I love Richie. But if you want to check it out, I'd appreciate that. You said mention something on the channel. I appreciate that. And, every night we do live shows, and we have great calls. I'd like to go back to that because, they have the information. They're going to give us the best reporting information. Just for, my regular viewers, I'm not going to start... making any assumptions yet, or right now it's about more so about reporting and just getting this info out. That's what's most important to me right now. Of course, later. All right, so it looks like they're back talking. Let's go back to it. And plus, I think I need to take a break just for reasons.
STEM school, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. It is also simply just called the STEM School in Highlands Ranch, and it is a sizable school. 1,800 kids go here. It serves kids grades K through 12, so a pretty sizable school. When this happened, that school did go into lockdown, as did, schools in the Highlands Ranch area. Those went into lockout. That has since been lifted, and all after-school activities have been canceled. Even Douglas County High School all the way in Castle Rock went into lockout, but in these situations, you just can't take any chances. We did just get a press release from Douglas County Schools. They say if your student attends STEM school in Highlands Ranch, you can pick them up at Northridge Recreation Center, located at 8800 South Broadway in Highlands Ranch. If you don't have kids that go there, if you don't have a connection there, they're asking people to stay away from there. There's a lot of emergency personnel working there that are trying to work, so best to stay out of their way. They also say that all school activities have been canceled for all of Douglas County School District. And they also say they're going to continue to update the community as they get additional information, and that is what we will do. Jim and Karen?
You know, Dom, can we go back to Dominic Garcia for just a moment?
Leave him up there for us.
You know, Dominic, I'm curious. I was already in the journalism biz when Columbine happened, but you, Dominic, do you recall, as we look back on really the school shooting that started this really tragic trend around the globe, do you remember where you were, Dom, about 20 years and a few weeks ago when Columbine happened?
Jim, I think everyone who grew up here remembers. I was in 8th grade at my school, All Souls Catholic School in Englewood. We went on lockdown. I was supposed to have a baseball game that day at Clement Park, which is right next to Columbine. Obviously, that got canceled, and I think a lot of people, like myself, just remember the scene you saw on TV that day. I remember driving down the street, driving past blood banks, people lined up around the block. So when you hear of something like this, it definitely does stir up those memories, and I think we're all just hoping that this is nowhere near as serious as that was.
Absolutely. Dominic, thanks very much. We do know at this point they're telling us at least eight people have been transported from the school scene to local hospitals for treatment. Don't know if they were injured in some other way than the gunfire, but anyway, they're needing hospital care.
Yeah, we're going to get an update on them hopefully here in about 10 to 15 minutes from the sheriff's deputies there on their briefing, which is coming up. Our Jamie Leary will be covering that. First, though, let's get to Rick Salinger. Rick's joining us on the phone because of this weather that we have out there and the chance of lightning. Rick, you're on the phone now and still out there at the STEM school there in Highlands Ranch. If you would just kind of share with us what is still taking place.
Well, as we told you a few moments ago, there is thunder and lightning in the area, and that is why we're on the phone with you now. What they have done with all those hundreds of students who are gathered outside the school is they have moved as many of them as they can to nearby buildings unrelated to the school. Now, a number of fresh buses have pulled up, including an RTD bus, and they're attempting to get the students out of these buildings, onto the buses, and over to the reunification point where they can be hooked up with their parents. This is a truly miserable scene in every way you can imagine. Gunfire today, injuries, evacuations, and now pouring rain. This is something we had hoped to never see.
Yeah, Rick Salinger reporting in from the school, and a lot of the families, as we saw as recently as about half an hour ago, were all outside milling about, keeping track of the law enforcement officers who had massed outside. And at about that point, maybe about half an hour, 45 minutes ago, they got the word, the scene is clear, we believe we've secured the school, but then of course the heavens opened up and they were rushing him into a building across the street, and
yeah, trying to get kids out, get them on the buses, get them over to the rec center.
Tough situation in so many ways.
Well, our Jamie Leary is also continuing our coverage for us right now on the school shooting. Jamie Leary is at the AMC Theater there in Highlands Ranch. That is where the media briefing is going to take place. So if we could get to Jamie Leary and kind of find out if she has been receiving any type of updates out there. Jamie, have you been able to talk to anyone there yet?
Well, we know the media briefing that was supposed to happen around 4 o'clock was supposedly going to have some new information for us, but of course, as Jim put it, the heavens opened up, and that's really what happened out here. We're still seeing lightning. You heard Rick Challenger talking about that. So at this point in time, it's not really safe to be outside. It's thunder. You can still hear it in the background maybe, but right now what I'm looking at is the huge police presence. Karen Morfitt was talking about it at the rec center earlier, how many agencies have responded to this, have really come together and acted so quickly. What we're seeing from my angle is that sea of first responders. We almost have a bird's eye view of just how many people responded to help out in this situation. And about 30 minutes ago, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office tweeted that they're still working to clear the school. We have been listening to scanner traffic, which suggests that maybe the incident is winding down and they have cleared the school. But again, that is just scanner traffic. I have witnessed quite a few police cars leaving the actual scene. So it's starting to dwindle down, although there are probably, I would say, at least 30 police cars in front of us at this point in time. And I should say that the Douglas County Sheriff's Office has been doing a great job on Twitter. Although they can't be outside right now, they have been tweeting updates.
Okay, so there's going to be a press, they're going to have I'm going to have that. I actually have it on a secondary device. I have this live. So I'll be able to update you as soon as they go to, the sheriff, which they said 15 minutes. That was about 8 minutes ago. So about 7 or 8 minutes from now, they should have the, I would assume, like the sheriff of the county giving a live update. And it's just horrible. I'm just checking out chat. Now, what is this about IEDs, Robert?
Can I see that phone? Measuring cups. We need measuring cups.
Yeah, if people could please hit the like button, share, get this out there. I know, I'm Michelle. I know it is airy. It was airy with that music. I know. Let me see. All right. Yeah, let me get that. Got it. Yeah, Colin's show tonight. We'll be talking about this. We'll be talking about a multitude of things. I was in the middle of just finishing a stream, and I forget who it was. I think it was Kelly Kibo or I Am Ainsley. One of you, or maybe someone else, mentioned that you guys got a text. And right at that moment, I went over to Twitter and realized there really was a school shooting. And once again, for everyone, that follows and is here regularly, Red Pill was first on it. I'm being used to drip away from something else, kind of like. Yes, potentially that. Yes, sometimes yes, Trip. In this situation, no. No, the reason I say that is because, it's Kelly. Yeah, so Kelly. Yep. Thank you. That's why I rely on you guys, to help me break things, and it's information. It's little tips like that. So I just wanted to give the proper, thank you, and just say Kelly Kibo is the one who gave me the tip on the story quick. She received a text from a friend. And right away when I checked, I realized, when I checked, it said 11 minutes. And there was only one mention of it. So I checked YouTube, there was nothing, and I just started a stream. And I just basically just wanted to get the information out. I thought it was going to end up start getting worse. I'm hoping that all these kids pull through. Yeah, DuckDuckGo I was on, but then I also had Chrome on. It wouldn't let me play the videos. It wouldn't let me play the videos until I went like directly to Google and Googled it, Google Twitter, from Google. That's the only way that I was able to stop playing videos. So that's just how they make it, Yeah. Yeah, as far as what you said, Charles Harding, as far as sending kids to school gun-free zone if you can help it. I live in Massachusetts. I have a 2-year-old girl, as you guys could tell. And I don't have to make that decision yet, but when I do, I know, Trip. Yeah, yep, that's what we said. It was too quiet yesterday. We knew something was coming. And who would think that we would cover it live like we did? I mean, we were the first on it. First YouTube on it. I'm surprised there wasn't more people. But then again, I wasn't checking. But, I mean, the peak concurrent was only 31. I'm surprised there wasn't more people on YouTube looking. But maybe they just go straight to the source. And I got 3,000 followers. I will share your shows. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. That would help. Any help helps. And one thing, I don't ask for money. I don't, nothing like that. You don't see any. I don't do the super chat. I'm eligible for super chat. I don't do it. I've thought about doing it, but what's more important to me is to get this news out there. As horrific as it is, and it's tough. It makes me sick. It really, honestly makes me sick. And what really makes me sick is like when I see on Twitter like the gun confiscation, or they're coming for our guns, or it's just that's where it goes automatically. That's unfortunate. Scene remains active. Well, we just heard it's actually not too active right now. It's active as far as reuniting the children. The injured are in the hospital. 2 in custody. I just don't see. This is why it's important to do this unfolding. If you have been with us since the beginning, you'll remember that they said there were 3 suspects, or a potential third on the loose. I just wonder what happened to that. What is this? NYPD uses location-based VR for active shooter training. Oh, okay, virtual reality. And they do it in the schools. I just hope there wasn't a drill that day. But okay, so let's check back in. Maybe the sheriff is on doing his briefing. I want to make sure I catch that. Looks like not. Okay. At least not yet. Let's hear what they're saying. What happened there? Oh, it's over? That's it? Is that it? Is that all they got? Is that the end of their show? Well, I'm sure we can find another one live. Okay, so I just want to see the Yeah, I think that's a good search. All right. You know what? Just you know what? I'm gonna add live in there. I want to see what we can get on the ground. Yeah, see, a lot of this is old information. We'll do latest. This seems to be I think he was second on it right after me. I am watching a live Facebook post of an active shooter at a Colorado Walmart and hundreds of cops. I wonder, do you think so? Maybe they didn't. So if Jill is, let's see, if Jill is or is this old? No, this is on the latest. So, well, it could be somebody playing games, which is sick. But let's see. Let's just. No, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. All right, we'll get out of here. Oh, see, and then they link to something in 27. Oh, the whole thing is in 20. Why would that be on the latest? Because of how I wrote it. I mean, that's it for active shooter Colorado live. Yeah, I'll narrow the search. Let's put active shooter. So 8. Now it's up to 8. It's 8 injured now. At least reporting to the Heretic. No blue check mark, so take that with a grain of salt. 7 has been confirmed, but now we're hearing 8. We had heard potentially 8 before. I'm still wondering. Are you still? At least 7 students. Philly, no. Philly, no. Sorry, it's my dog. Okay. No. I wonder what that video was. But that's too suspect. I just wonder what happened to that third. Was that maybe just they thought there was a third? And because it seems like now all of a sudden, remember we saw third and like every single one said potential third. Now you don't see it anywhere. Oh, as I say that, here it is right here. And here's actually a news station, so we can check them out. So it's been updated. Okay, so let's see. This is updated as of Mountain Time. So as of 2 minutes ago. So let's check this out. At least 7 students have been injured following reports of shots fired at 153 at STEM School, Highlands Ranch, at Southland Ridgeland. Ridgeline Boulevard and Plaza Drive, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. There is possibly an There is possibly an eighth injury as well, according to Under Sheriff Holly Nicholson Clough. So Under Sheriff, a spokesman for the Sheriff's Office. We'll watch that video. The Sheriff's Office said deputies have 2 suspects in custody, and they do not believe there is a third suspect. Okay, so that answers my question. So it sounds like the potential third suspect was, a precaution, because when you have 2, you have to assume there's more. In any situation like that, you just have to assume that it's a larger group. Once you have more than you realize it's more than one. So it looks like they ruled out the third suspect narrative. So it's 2 shooters. The scene is still active and unstable, and people are being asked to avoid the area. Nixon Clout said the shooting began in the middle school, and then many shots were fired. So these victims, so it looks like it's a huge school that has like a K through 6, or however they do it. The way, let's say the way I grew up, and then or K through 5, and then like a 6 through 8, and then high school. It looks like the shooting was in the middle school. And usually in these situations, they're shooting. There's a reason that it's a student, but in this situation, it's odd because it's 2 students, which is what we saw with Columbine, and all the other shootings are lone wolves, right? For lack of a better term. So how weird that only like 8 to 10 miles from Columbine is the second, 2 people with the same intentions to actually go and do this that are in the same school. I mean, just the thought of one kid being capable of this blows my mind. But when you have 2 or more that both actually think of it, plan it, and go through with it, I mean, that is just like, it's almost unbelievable. And then I'm trying to think, am I missing one? They've all been lone shooters since Columbine. There was Columbine, there were 2, and ever since then they've been lone shooters. Now we have another situation where 2 people are that disturbed, whatever they were going through, that they actually go through with this. Now, I'll be a little bit honest in some of my views, I believe that a lot of these kids are on certain medicines, and they all saw psychiatrists. I'm talking about past events with the lone shooters. And a lot of them talked about hearing voices. A lot of them were described as being almost as if like they weren't there. Like you could see in their eyes and their movements, it's like they were like soulless, like controlled almost. And there is such a thing as voice to skull and signal to skull technology. And I wonder if there's something when they all are on certain medicines, or I've been hypnotized and I have no idea what happened during the hypnotism. All I know is that it brought back trauma that I had forgotten, which is weird. Both from the military and outside the military shooting situation. So, I have like different theories on things, and some, sometimes they just happen. Sometimes it's just, unfortunately, with the way our media is, they don't help anything. They don't help the situation at all. I mean, the new norm is they don't say the shooter's name. They don't give that shooter the recognition, because sometimes these kids, they just want to be heard. These kids sometimes, and I'm sorry for the background. I'm gonna actually go in the closed room. Okay, so and sometimes these shooters they want to just be heard. I mean, and that's the sole reason for these shootings. I mean, not the sole reason. Obviously, it's a multitude of reasons, but sometimes that's the sole reason is they see that these other shooters are recognized and they're villainized by other people. They're by kids who, let's say, get bullied, or rappers that I even like Eminem. They're almost like kind of sympathized with, and their name is everywhere. Everybody knows their name, and then they look at their life, and with I couldn't even imagine growing up as a kid these days with the social media and I mean, like it's not enough the crap that goes on in school where the cliques and the bullying and all that, and then on top of it you got social media and everybody's connected 24/7, and if you're not in the loop, you're not with it, and you might look weird, you might act weird. The autism rates have gone so high. Some of those kids are picked on, and it's just so I guess the media, their way of dealing with this, they just don't say their names anymore. But what they don't realize is all the crap that they put out there and the division that they force amongst Americans. The children, people forget about the children. The children have access to the internet. The children can see, and children absorb everything. They understand. Think about when you were a kid. You might have been kind of blind to a lot, but as far as just like the news and your parents and the way your parents react, whether they're for this or that, it has an effect. And what blows my mind though is, back in Columbine, there was no social media, nothing like that. The whole lone shooter narrative, it makes a lot more sense to me, whether it's something more to it, or whether it's just a situation where it's just one of these kids that are, an outcast, and they to the point that they don't care about dying. And in this situation, they were taken into custody. A lot of times they are determined to die. And that's what I don't understand. You go in there and you take all these lives, and now, I mean, I guess it's scary to die for everybody, but if you're going that far, I'm just surprised that they actually get taken into custody. Anyways, let's watch this video real quick, and then I'm gonna check in to see if there's anything with the what's going on here. Okay. But what really blows my mind is that it's so close to Columbine, and I can't recall any double shooters as far as school since then. And here we are, 8 to 10 miles away, another double shooter. And it looks like from my guess, probably about 20 miles away from Aurora, where they had the other shooting. And don't forget about the Denver International Airport. I mean, if you guys don't know about that, you know what? I'll touch on that tonight in the live stream. How about that? Some of the stuff that's been kind of suspect in Denver. And also, I can tell you that the Denver area is huge when it comes to the FBI and things like that. A lot of top secret bases are out in that area, in the less populated areas. How did I end up here? Okay. There's just so much going on out there. It just makes you wonder what are the chances? that all this happens in this one little area, and these poor kids. Because this happened. This isn't not crisis actors, all right? In different situations, yeah, maybe, because I've seen proof of, them looking for actors. But in these type of situations, no. I just don't. I'm not with that. I don't see that. No way. I'm not going there. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I have so many different things up because I had just done a live stream. And by the way, this is the video where, for Charles, if you're still there, where I was on Richie's Navy, what do you call it? The only thing he puts in it, quit. I never quit the military. I just didn't re-enlist. There's a difference. But he's a veteran too. He knows what I meant, but it was part of one of the reasons I didn't, one of the main reasons actually I didn't re-enlist, even though they wanted me to go to OCS, Officer Candidate School. Despite even getting in trouble one time for underage drinking, they wanted me to go to Officer Candidate School because I always number one in my class and scores and stuff.
Just giving a quick update on what's going on here in Highlands Ranch.
Yeah, where's that?
A very serious situation at the STEM middle school. This is a school K through 12 that has about 1,800 students.
Where is that? I'm sorry, guys. It's like my computer is like being like attacked. So what's going on here? What's going on?
They're enslaved to it. Straight down this road. And then they get you on the Suboxone. There's people. Yeah, no, I hear you. And then if you keep going down Route 9 and you take a left, I think it's at Otis Street, there's an old pharmaceutical place with an enormous glass pyramid in front of it. Have you ever seen it? No. See, I'm not from here. I just moved here recently. All the way down Route 9.
Yeah, that was me and Richie when we met. Alright, trying to find my way back. Okay. No. This wasn't it either. Although I'm curious about this. Let's refresh this. Because they did say the sheriff was coming out. I'm just trying to kind of put a bow on this. Hopefully I just don't want to hear that any of these kids died. That's what I don't want to hear. Okay, so yeah, we were here, live. I saw this, live report, and I clicked on that, and that's how I got to where I was. Computer's like unbelievably slow. It's never this slow. Okay. So what they're talking, they're talking.
Out there, Douglas County is handling this, and it is still a very active situation.
Yeah, they're in the school right now. Went in a short time ago. Want to make sure that that there is not an active shooter involved. Still waiting to get official confirmation on any arrests. Once again, the school at Ridgeline and Plaza Drive, the STEM School of Highlands Ranch. It's a big place. CBS 4's Dominic Garcia joining us now from the newsroom. But first, Rick Salinger, one of our investigators.
Yeah, see, that's old. I don't know where that came from. That's old. So that's old information. All right. So I'm going to take the live out and just really just get to the meat of this. All right. Yes, this is where we saw 8 injured. It's funny because it's like, not funny, but it's odd. You know, you got people like you know, he had prepared this report, and it's almost like he like waited for the next one to happen, knowing that one's gonna happen eventually, to put out his like article and take. That's what people do, you know. They take advantage of this stuff. Shooter survival training. See, all this stuff's coming out now. All these people. This makes 42 different school shootings this year in America. Whoa. Is that accurate? Oh, you know what? This is important. To your kids. Run, hide, fight. Surviving an active shooter. This might be ridiculous, but if you're in this type of situation, you know what? I've seen this. This is a little too. No, not now. Maybe another time. You guys can watch that in your own time if you want. It's a little bit too realistic for me.
Still do not know that there is no more shooters in the school or students that are injured in different areas. We're clearing the school right now.
But you have two in custody?
We have 2 suspects in custody. We hope that that's the last.
Alright, so it looks like check this out.
Looks like we're calling Jim in there with the earphones on.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Anybody tell her? Who? Courtney? She probably said there's a jam with the earphones on. No way this is. No, she's in the tech area. They have a stretcher coming in.
What is it, really?
There's an ambulance bringing a stretcher in right here. There's kids coming out. That kid looks like he got shot right there.
Yeah, there's a kid with a bandage over his eye.
Oh, no way. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's a kid. Yeah, there's a guy with a bandage.
Oh wow, they had video of one of the kids that was shot. Wow. I'm surprised that didn't get scrubbed yet. Wow. Yeah, guys, please like, share this video because we've been covering it since it first broke. And if you're interested in my channel, we do live shows at night with call-ins. Also, you know, I do my best to break stories as often as possible, you know. This is my 7th story I broke. Some people say 6th. Let's see. As far as YouTube goes, you know. YouTube/mainstream media. Here's that video again. I don't even, so. Where's the student who they think got shot here? Oh, the kid running. Oh, wait. Somewhere here you'll see them helping someone. Oh, I think right here. No, that's not it. Oh, right there, maybe. Oh, around there. So I think the kid's in there somewhere. But yeah, I don't even know if I want to show that because it kind of. I mean, that wasn't graphic or anything, but for privacy issues, false flags on it. So a lot of the same. There we are. Retweet that. Yeah, guys. So I mean. You know, I don't know if it matters if YouTube's open. I'm still streaming. I just don't know if I'm even live. Let's see. Oh, so I am on. Okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Let's see. How's chat doing? Yeah, Moff does. He sells the smart meter covers as well. Or he had like not directly, but yeah, he has a. You go to. I'm sure that if you go to his website, you'll be able to see it. Yeah, that's true, Charles Harding. That's fact. It sounds like science fiction, but that's true. Once the 5G is in, they'll know your every move and thought. That's it. Really does. It sounds fake. I know. I sound crazy saying that, but I mean, even when I was in, which it's been 2019. It's been 12 years now since I've been in. But even back then, there were things going on people would never think. Yeah, copycats. Yep, a lot of copycats as well. But it's just odd with the 2-2. Well, Gus the Broken 2, we don't know that yet. I'm trying to avoid that. And Gus, you know what? Yeah, I love you, brother. I mean it in Christ, right? But all the YouTube videos and chat, you know, if you have one you want to share per chat, that's fine. But I've seen like 4 or 5 now. You know, if you're here to, for this reason, that's good. But if you're here for a different agenda, that's different. But like I said, even then, I'll allow you. You can share one. You can share one link. That's fine. But if you're gonna share like a link every 2 seconds, yeah, that's not what we want. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that, Sandra. Alright, let's get back into the mix here. Maybe this isn't just over yet. Well, just in for CNN. We'll wait to the party, huh? Well, not that it's a party, but... Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's just the undersheriff. I hope this isn't this brief thing isn't their big news conference. I mean, is that it? Oh, here we go. All right, guys, here we go.
That's a quick overview. I'll take a couple questions, and we'll see what we can do to help you.
Oh, we missed the overview. Oh, come on. You know what? I'm gonna go back. Come on. While that loads, I'm not gonna. So we'll just watch it like this, if that's fine with everyone.
Douglas County community, what's your message to parents?
Well, I can tell you that right now, to the parents.
Come on. We just want to.
Parents, we're going to do everything we can to.
They keep trying to redirect me. I want to say.
Their community. We're going to investigate that, and we will get to the bottom of it to figure out how and what has occurred. Because we are likely to have a criminal prosecution in this case, there's not going to be a lot of information that is going to be shared about the details of those issues. We are working very closely with the district attorney, and what I can tell you right now is that we're not going to share a lot of that information because it will be prudent for a prosecution later down the road.
You said that your deputies arrived 2 minutes after that call was placed by the school. How did that quick response affect where we are right now?
I have to believe that the quick response of the officers that got inside that school helped save lives. We're very early on in this. I have yet to even meet with those officers to talk to them to see how they're doing. But I do know that a quick response eliminates a lot of this issue right off the bat. And so I want to think that that is something that helped.
Was there any sort of indication, coordination, sophistication with this type of an attack inside the school?
There's no evidence right now that I can share with you about any of the methodology of the suspects.
Did you guys know these folks? Did you know them before?
We had no further information about those suspects, and we did not have them on any radar that we know of.
How did the struggle play out? What you can tell us in terms of if shots weren't fired at the suspects from your deputies, I mean, how were they able to get them under control?
That I do not have the particular details. I just know that my officers engaged them, and we had them in custody. I don't know where they were taken into custody at the school, at what room or whatever, and the FBI will help us determine some of that with the interviews of the officers in the crime scene.
What kind of weapons did they use, sir? Just characterize.
At this point right now, the only thing that we know of right now from one interview is that we have a handgun. Other than that, I cannot tell you any other weapons.
Sheriff, we heard that there was a specific teacher that was targeted. Is that true?
We have no information about anyone being targeted at the hospital or at the school that was involved as an employee or a teacher.
Any indication about the reason behind this? I know it's still early in the investigation, but why they were?
No, we have no information about why we're too early on in the investigation.
Is there a school resource officer assigned to the school?
There is not a school resource officer assigned to that school. They have a private security at that school, but no SRO at that school.
Were all the injured students or staff members or teachers?
No staff members or teachers that I know of that were injured. All of the injured were students.
Do you know current students, the suspects? Because you said adults and juvenile. I know that there's a wide range of students in the school, but...
We believe that both of the suspects were and are students at the STEM school.
You said they engaged the students in 2 separate locations inside the school. Do you know, was it like specifically like a library or classrooms? Can you talk about 2 locations in it?
They were just classrooms. Nothing specific about those classrooms.
Did students, were they confronted by other students at the school in addition to your deputies, or do you have any additional information about it?
I only know about one interview of one student. The other ones have not been interviewed because they immediately went into medical, and so I can't answer that question specifically. but I do know that there was one student that gave us an interview, but I'm not going to release that information at this point right now because it's critical to the investigation.
Was there an
related to each other?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Was there an exchange of gunfire inside the school with your deputies?
That is still under investigation at this point. Like I said, I haven't spoke to them. I have a chief that's investigating that portion of it with the district attorney, and we'll be able to get that information to you probably at a later time.
How old are the injured students?
The injured students are from 15 and up. I don't know the specifics of all of them. I can't tell you male, female, or whatever at this point.
All right, 2 more questions.
And how serious are the injuries?
We have students that are at one hospital that are in critical condition, and some of them are in surgery right now. We have some of them that are in stable condition at other hospitals.
Do you give a range of injuries, where they were shot or anything like that?
I do not have that available.
Right,
is there any chance that there's anybody still left in the school?
No, we confirmed that there's no other suspect in the school. At this point, we have secured the environment.
Or fatalities or injured people left?
We're not sharing any information about that at this point until we have reunified all of the students with their parents.
All right, thank you very much. All right, guys, once we get any more information, we will send out anything that is releasable. Again, can't stress enough that it's still an active investigation, lots of information going on. I know that a lot of you have reached out to me and my other PIOs, and we are trying to get as much information to you as possible. So if we don't answer the phone, I apologize. The information that the sheriff has just sent out is what we are releasing right now, and as soon as we get anything different, we will make sure you guys are updated. Another briefing?
All right, you are watching Denver 7, and this is a news conference you just saw with the Sheriff Tony Spurlock talking about 2 individuals who walked into a school today in Highlands Ranch and started shooting and were engaged by officers within about 2 minutes. Those 2 suspects are in custody. We know that 8 students are in the hospital right now, and some in critical condition, some in surgery as we speak.
Both the suspects were students. Of course, in this early hour, we don't have any sort of motivation. We don't have details of firearms except one was a handgun. And we know that the shootings happened in 2 different locations. Both, according to the sheriff, were in classrooms where this happened, deep inside STEM school there on Ridgeline. The FBI now has taken over the crime scene inside the school. They also are have search warrants for the suspects' homes, and also they have a suspect vehicle there in the parking lot of the school right now. They also said they have all the people involved, that there's no more shooters out there, there's nothing else like there. At least this immediate threat has ended, but 8 people have been shot.
And the sheriff saying that quick response helped alleviate the situation here, but he also said that those 2 suspects, one adult male, one juvenile male, they were both students. He also said that they were not on their radar as far as he knew. So that was new information as well, but those 2 suspects are in custody. There's also a suspect unit, a suspect vehicle in the school parking lot that they're trying to assess right now, go over some of that information, go over some of that evidence, as well as the residence of one of those suspects.
That's right. And also for the first time, we heard that we got some ages of the victims. He said they were 15 years old and older. So we know there were so many worried parents, 1,850 students here, including elementary, including middle, including high school. But according to the sheriff, those shot were 15 years old and older right now. So that's what we have, some new information. And my guess is we're not going to have tons of new additional information about the actual shooting. The sheriff said they're going to slow everything down so they can make sure, dot all the I's, cross all the T's to prepare for prosecution.
And they want to make sure that those kids who were in that school, 1,800 students in that school, they want to make sure that they have been reunited with their families. That is happening right now at Northridge Rec Center. They have to make sure that they have accounted for every child. There are so many families, so much of an area to get through right now that is also a priority right now.
That's right. Jennifer Kovaleski has been talking with her sources and joins us live once again. Jen?
Right now, they are slowing things down. The main priority.
Shannon and Ann, we are still at the scene. We're at that AMC 24 where you just heard Sheriff Tony Spurlock
Spurlock. He actually came out of that mobile command center that you see behind me. This is where deputies and the sheriff are gathering as they continue this investigation. As you just heard live on our air, he called this a terrible day for the Douglas County community. This is one that hits close to home for a lot of people, and still a lot of pieces of the puzzle that they're still trying to piece together. We did learn some pretty key information in terms of kind of what happened after they first learned the shooting was called in around 2 o'clock this afternoon at the STEM school, about a mile up the road here from the AMC 24 in Highlands Ranch. We were told there were two suspects, a male juvenile, or excuse me, he didn't say if they were male or female, but a juvenile and an adult, but they did confirm that they were both students at the school. That is what Sheriff Spurlock is telling us. And within minutes of that shooting happening, he's now saying his deputies were there. They had some sort of interaction. There may have been some struggle between the deputies and those suspects, but they were able to get them into custody. But 8 people were injured. We've learned that they are ages 15 and up, and their injuries range from critical condition to others who are in stable condition. For what that means, we're still waiting to try to learn more information about the injuries. But this is just, it's been a wild afternoon here in Douglas County. There's just been so much going on, and as somebody who grew up here, seeing this in your community, it's hard. I mean, I went to Thunder Ridge. I came to this movie.
All right. So, yeah. So that's where we are right now, and let me see.
The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take.
I don't know what's wrong with my webcam. All of a sudden, my webcam is. What is going on? I have no idea what's going on with my video. I wonder if my video is even my webcam. Okay, so guys, I just want to close this out on the. Okay, here we go. I just wanted to close this out by saying, first of all, a little bit of analysis from what I heard outside of the obvious. Okay, so there was private security there. I think that's the reason that the number of injured is such a small number, and also. This is how I kind of, this is how I would analyze it. If you've been with us from the beginning, you know that at the beginning there were 2 injured, and that was the report for a long time. 2 injured, 2 injured, 2 injured, and they were saying 2 suspects, potentially 3, ended up just being the 2. One, an adult, must be, like a senior, an 18, so it's already turned 18, and a juvenile. I wouldn't be surprised, probably 18 and 17. And I bet you they're both males. For some reason, females don't do this stuff. But, so then the number rises to 7, then to 8. We know that some are critical, some are stable condition. Now, this is just my conjecture, this is just my opinion. I would say that the critical, most likely the initial 2 that were reported. And then the numbers go up because, but I think that the 2 initial reports of injured, those are the ones in critical condition. And that's just me kind of, I've been watching this the whole way and seeing different sources, and that's probably the case. Not definitely, they could have later found somebody, and they ended up, their wound ended up being worse than they thought, and, they just don't give all the information to the media at once. Obviously, we saw it trickle in, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. I found it interesting also how, at the end, when he was asked about fatality, he goes, I'm not going to talk about that. And then he just kind of said, until all the, just reading his body language. unfortunately, I wish I could just like be able to say, all right, at least they're all just injured, and I can say that at this point. But with two, I mean, well, I say two in critical, but with a certain number in critical condition, I just want to say prayer is powerful, and if we could all pray for them, I think that would be the best thing that we could do. Prayer is powerful. So please, I know I am going to right now. Prayer is powerful. This is horrible. The thing that is the most stunning of all this, outside of the obvious, is that there were two shooters. I can't remember another like a two-shooter situation since Columbine, which is only 8-10 miles away from there. So basically, those are kind of the outside of, like I said, the obvious. You guys heard everything, but I would say that I think that the two initial injured are the critical. I would say that the ages. I mean, because it's adult and they're probably good friends, and they're probably both seniors. And I bet you it's 18, 17. But this is all opinion. Also, like I said, males. For some reason, it's always a male. It's never females that do this. As far as so far, I should never say never, but it's. I bet you they're both males. They had a car there, so that tells you something as well as far as their age. And also, I would just add that the fact that there's two shooters, that just blows my mind, that two people in the same school. It's one thing, like, they're going through all this, or, they have a target. But, if they had a target, there'd just be one shot, maybe killed. No, there's multiple. So, I'm sure more will come out later. But the fact that there's two shooters is what makes this really interesting, as far as, when in comparison to the many, many, many other shootings that have happened in this country. And it's sickening. And you know what's going to happen next. There's going to be half the country wanting to take everyone's guns. The other half is trying to save their guns. But I think the most important thing that we can do is pray. Prayer is powerful. And with that, I just want to say, I'm not going to say my normal outline. I'm just going to say, God bless you all. And if you guys are new here, please like and share the video and get it out. That's most important. If you're the type that likes, live call-in shows, truth, not so much crazy conspiracy, but actually finding truth, whether it be with military action, whether it be with whatever is the local stories, many different topics we go over on this channel. Subscribe. And I'll just leave you guys with that. This is Red Pill, and I'm signing off. So thank you for joining me, and in this tough time, because this is sad. This is I just it's one thing you hear about it, but just following it and like hearing about, like, it's just it's different when you like actually like break it and follow it, and I'm like consumed by it right now, and I just need to say some prayer, and I think this is a good time to end. And my daughter just walked in, so it's kind of funny how that works. All right, guys, take care.
Here, try a different.
And I'll leave the stream open in case you guys want to chat. Okay. Sorry for that. What I was saying is I'll leave the stream open in case you guys want to chat. First, I'm gonna hit my knees, and then I just have some stuff to deal with. So I'll leave this open if people want to chat. And you know what? Even just because there might be more coming out, and I want to be able to report on it all in one video. So I'll just leave it open for now. All right, guys. Little update. I just want to let you guys see this here from the parents, and it's been powerful. So I decided I'll pull this up. As soon as I can get the volume. What's up with the volume? Hmm. I don't know why this is muted.
Teachers who had cell phones were texting parents and letting them know that their classroom was on lockdown and that the students in those classes were okay. We're joined now by one of those parents and a student. Tell me your name, and you just came out of the rec center, is that right?
That's correct. Bob Stanley.
And Bob, and who are you?
I'm Jacob Stanley.
Jacob, we're so glad you're okay. Bob, tell me what was going on and what happened in the rec center just now. You guys were reunited and law enforcement sort of had to sign off on parents picking up their kids.
Yeah, that's correct. They had everybody grouped by age and by class. So they were calling them one first grade, second grade, third grade, and so on. And then finally, as they got some of that cleared out, they were able to do larger groups, and they got the high school crowd. So that's when I was able to get to Jake. So.
And how old are you, Jake?
I'm 14.
So tell me about the moments that you were in the school, and as this shooting is unfolding, what happened?
So it started off, we were just like reviewing for upcoming tests, but then all of a sudden there was like a middle school, the alarm started off as a middle school lockdown, but quickly changed to a high school, or all school lockdown, and we had to kind of get back in the corner, turn all the lights off, lock the doors, and everyone was a little bit panicked, like we didn't know what was going on. Until we really heard like a lot of yelling from like police and a couple of younger voices. We couldn't really distinguish anything, but like we could tell it was bad and it wasn't just a drill.
You didn't know what was happening, but you knew it was definitely urgent and definitely an emergency.
No, we could definitely tell. Like it took a really long time, so we knew it wasn't a drill because usually they end drills pretty quick. So we could definitely tell it was urgent.
And Bob, what was going through your mind as a parent?
Well, I mean, you're hoping for the best, but you're really thinking the worst. But it's with the technology and being able to get connected with them via text and via mobile phones, it really helped put everybody kind of at ease and stay calm. So.
They have new information back at the station. We're going to toss it back to them, but we really appreciate your time. I'm glad everything's okay for you and your family. Take care. Okay, we'll toss it back to you guys.
Yeah, just one of the many nerve-wracking scenes playing out with parents and children all over Highlands Ranch today.
We were talking about that device out in the parking lot, and you have new information on that.
Well, we were watching, and I last left you wondering if it was out of an abundance of caution or if they had cause. I just got off the phone with an informed source close to the investigation that says they have spotted tactical gear inside the vehicle. That's the reason they brought that bomb robot out. They are waiting before they enter, but there is reason to be concerned. That's why it is on the location. It was not out of an abundance of caution, but because they did see tactical gear inside this vehicle, tactical gear that was not used during the shooting.
All right, and we don't know what that is, of course, and I mean, if God only knows what this day could have been. Tony, thank you very much. Let you get back to working your sources.
So it is 5:42, and as you know, this all started just before 2 o'clock this afternoon when two people walked into the STEM school in Highlands Ranch and started shooting, and officers were there, according to the sheriff, officers were there within about 2 minutes and engaged these two shooters. We are still waiting to hear some more information on the students, but again, as you know, we've reported to you that one student is dead and there are others still in the hospital as we speak. So and then there's still so much going on at the school itself and then at the Northridge Center where they are trying to bring these families back together.
That's right. We just saw two of them there. This is an enormous school, so this is going to be a very long process because they're being pretty careful, it sounds like, to identify the students, make sure everybody's accounted for. A lot of students were bused over to the rec center. Some just took off and ran. In fact, we spoke to a 6th grader named Christian who just took off running out of the school. He said running for his life when shots broke out right there.
and thankfully was able to run to his mother, who was nearby, and was able to meet up with him at a restaurant. And thankfully, her family is okay. But it was such a tense situation, having a conversation with them on the phone about waiting and wondering and just being hopeful that their third grader, and thank goodness she was okay.
So
the family's reunited.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about the victims or the two people responsible for this. The two people who did it are students there, one technically a juvenile and one technically an adult. That's all we have. We know they're students. As far as the victims, they're all students, according to Sheriff Spurlock, ages 15 and up, even though that school carries from, let's say, 6-year-olds up to seniors in high school. Yeah, and there are still some in critical condition. Several is the last we'd heard from the sheriff. Several in critical condition. That was maybe 45 minutes ago. Some in surgery right now at 3 area hospitals here in the Denver metro.
And when we last heard from the sheriff, that was at about 4:50-ish. Yeah. He did say that these two shooters were not on their radar, not on the sheriff's department's radar. Well, they certainly are now. And again, as we have learned, that they will be in court tomorrow. So there's a lot yet to learn about what the situation was, what led up to it, and how this could happen in our community.
Yeah, exactly. I believe we have is it Jason Grenauer who is live. He's been out on the scene for the last couple of hours. What new information do you have, Jason?
Well, you showed just a few moments ago some of the touching moments. We're here at the Northfield Rec Center in Highlands Ranch. This is along South Broadway. This is where those reunifications with parents are happening. And they have been happening going on the last few hours. They've been busing the students in. Parents have been coming in, signing their kids out, and then eventually leaving. But something that we hadn't seen up until a few moments ago was a small group of people. They were standing together, holding hands with their heads bowed. They were praying because this is such a difficult day. I don't know how many of these families and these students know how many victims there were, that the fact that one student is ultimately deceased as a result of this shooting, but it's been a difficult day. You can read it on the parents and the students' faces, and what strikes me for being out here, one is just the size, the number of people. We've mentioned multiple times, more than 1,800 students attend the STEM school in Highlands Ranch, that there are students from elementary, middle, and high school. So there are a lot of kids here, and then even more parents, and all of the cars that are just parked up and down South Broadway turned this area into a bit of a parking lot as they brought in the City of Aurora Mobile Command Communications Unit. Castle Rock Police is here. Everyone's here just to make sure that these students get home safely. Another moment that we saw here, what appeared to be a law enforcement officer hugging a student. It turns out that law enforcement officer was the father of 2 STEM school children from a different jurisdiction. He came, he was hugging his kids just like everybody else that was here, probably having to then go back to his job and help out with this large-scale scene that is still happening. Now, we have not seen a bus in the last 30 minutes or so, and people have kind of started trickling out, but it had been a steady stream of people, almost what you would see when a concert lets out, that many people just leaving, and it never stopped because all of the parents kept having to come in, pick up their kids, a lot of hugs, a lot of tears. The other thing that's really striking, as you see a lot of these students leave, yes, some of them are in high school, but some of them are really, really small. I mean, we're talking about kindergarten-aged kids that just had to deal with a shooting at their school, and now parents holding their hands, gripping them tight, some of them in tears. I'm sure a lot of very difficult conversations that are going to have to be had between parents and students about what today ultimately was, what today ultimately is. But we can tell you, according to our earlier reporting, that all of the victims' families have been notified, so that these parents are showing up here knowing that they're going to be reunited with their kids. And so there is that sense of relief, and a lot of relief to a lot of hugs once they sign them out, walk them down there across the street, and ultimately head home after quite a long day, guys.
Jason Grenauer, thank you very much for that. So coming up on 5:47 right now. It happened about 10 minutes until 2 o'clock there in Highlands Ranch when this shooting unfolded at the STEM school. There's been a little confusion about how many were injured, and we do know for sure that one sadly has died. So at least 7 injured there at Sky Ridge, Littleton Adventist, and Children's Hospital. Several still in critical condition, and a last check as of an hour ago in surgery right now.
And I believe we have Denver 7's Jessica Porter at Littleton Hospital right now. 5 patients were taken there, and some have been released, Jessica.
5 students injured in the shooting were taken here to Littleton Adventist Hospital. Now, we're learning that 3 of those students have been discharged. That's very good news. But the sad news is that 2 of those patients remain in serious condition. Now, when we first got here and the shooting first happened, they told us that 4 patients were in serious condition. So things have definitely progressed in a good way, in a positive way. And I just want to commend all of the emergency crews. You know, South Metro Fire just tweeted out that 148 fire and medical personnel and 3 medical helicopters responded to the school shooting, making sure to get these students here and those who were injured quickly. And the sheriff said they responded within minutes to take those shooters down. And I think that played such a critical role in getting the students that were injured help as soon as possible. The hospital isn't releasing a lot of information about those students that were injured. We don't know their ages, their genders, or the extent of their injuries, how exactly they were injured. But it is good news to report that 3 of those students have been discharged. They're at home, safe with their families. 2 remain here at the hospital in serious condition and will remain here as well until we get more updated information on those students' conditions. Shannon?
All right,
Shannon,
Jessica. Yeah, Jessica, thank you very much. Live outside. Littleton Adventist, that is good news. 3 have been discharged of the 5 students taken there.
And Jessica makes a good point that there were resources from all over the metro that converged on Highlands Ranch this afternoon to assist in that investigation. We know that Jeffco, we just know that organizations from all over the metro were there to assist. Let's bring Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski back in with us to bring us up to date on what you were learning now.
Well, we heard the sheriff in the news briefing shortly before 5 o'clock talk about that things had ratcheted down and now they were just catching up, but things have picked up. We have video from a bomb robot that was brought to the vehicle, believed to be one of the suspects, one of the gunman's vehicle. We want to show that to you right now. We originally thought it was out of an abundance of caution, but talking to a well-placed and informed source, we are told that there is reason for that to be there, that they did locate tactical gear in the vehicle, and that's why they have brought in that bomb robot, if you will, to take a look and maybe remove things from the vehicle. Again, it's not unusual in these situations when gunmen not only plan what they're going to do during the shooting, but then they plan afterwards, and that's why law enforcement is doing what it's doing right now. I also want to take a quick moment to talk about it, and it is a very sad day for our community, but there are also heroes to talk about here. That security officer that went in quickly, putting his or her life on the line, clearly saved lives. The SWAT officer that got there quickly, that stepped over the body of one seriously injured student, again, finding the gunman. And then the principal we've been talking about, who during everything that was going on, found a 3rd grade student, knew her mom was concerned, may have called many, picked up the phone, called the mom and said, "Your daughter is okay." So a sad day for all of us, but also a day where a lot of heroic activity took place and prevented it from being much, much worse.
We will be hearing more and more stories like that, because as we talk about this school, this K-12 school, there are so many children inside that school. I'm sure feeling vulnerable at some point today as they are waiting, and then the parents feeling so vulnerable as well, waiting for word of their kids. And I think it's important to know that there is this FBI investigation going on right now. The FBI called in to help with this investigation. Part of that, picking up that vehicle, also checking out the residences of these 2.
And they bring in subject matter experts on the weapons. Again, another of the positives, we did confirm that it was a handgun, not a rifle, not something like you saw in Las Vegas that could quickly take out dozens and dozens, but a handgun. That probably made a difference. FBI telling us, federal sources telling us that there's no reason to believe there's terrorism. Obviously, we're talking about 2 students. I think you can confirm that local law enforcement, federal agents are visiting the homes of those two gunmen to find out if there's any kind of social media trail, any kind of searches on internet to see truly what the motive is, because that's the question we want to answer right now is why did they do
why exactly? And to be clear on the weapons, he just the sheriff just said he just knew of one was a handgun. We don't know if both of these people were armed, and if the second person,
that's accurate.
What he had. All we know is this happened. It's awful, and a young student here in Highlands Ranch is dead here on Teacher Appreciation Day, on Mother's Day week. Just a heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking day. Tony, thank you very much.
So much to take in. And at the same time, I think some families feeling some sense of relief tonight that they are able to see their children, touch their children, be with them once again, because that's what's happening at the Northridge Rec Center right now. And I believe that's where we have Russell Haythorne.
It was a big goosebump moment.
And there he is right now. Sorry, Russell.
You there, Russell?
Yeah, hey, Drew. I'm going to let my photographer know that we're live right now. So, yeah, I mean, we're here outside the rec center. My apologies. I was just interviewing a parent and a student who was inside the school, and I can relay some of that information to you, but they just walked off. What we're watching here is essentially students and parents exiting the rec center. So what has to happen down here is the law enforcement officers and the school staff members inside the rec center are going through essentially a list and releasing students to parents as they arrive here and as they sort of work their way down that list. So it's a process and it's taking a while, but obviously they want to be very thorough about this process. So you're watching as police have a big portion of Broadway here blocked off so that parents can get into the rec center, or they can park on the side of Broadway here and make their way in, and then they're sort of trying to keep traffic to a minimum, even though it's jammed all the way back pretty much from here at the rec center back to C470 as they try to again reunite parents and kids from the STEM school. So we're watching as a group of parents and kids are walking up the sidewalk toward us, and we're sort of grabbing parents and students as they walk by us. And we were just talking to a 14-year-old girl who was inside the school at the time of the shooting. She was in an outer classroom. She said they heard a bang on their window. She's not sure even now what that bang was related to, but seconds later the school went into lockdown. There was an announcement that was made over the intercom, and then they sort of told all of the classes to go on lockdown. And we were talking to that mom as she was texting back and forth with her 16-year-old son, who was also at the school, and he was telling her that he was okay, but she couldn't get in touch with the 14-year-old because the 14-year-old's phone was in another corner of the room, and the teacher essentially told the kids to go to the corner of the room, don't move, put your heads down, and then the teacher worked to barricade the door as she kept that room safe from whatever activity was going on outside in the hallways and outside the school as well. So that's the situation from here on Broadway near Plaza Drive in Highlands Ranch, guys.
Very good. Russell Haythorne, thank you for that. We appreciate it.
You are watching Denver 7 at almost 6 o'clock here. We are following breaking news, a shooting in Highlands Ranch this afternoon at a K-12 school. And we have Jace Larson, who's been we have all of our crews out working this story for you, but specifically Jace Larson is joining us now and has more information for us.
Yeah, we have confirmed through our sources the name of one of the shooters here, and we are at this point not going to report this individual's name. This person, though, is a senior, 18 years old. We were able to take a look at the background of this person who has been identified now as one of the shooters. And to be frank, the thing that we found was just a traffic citation that happened back in 2017, unsafe defective vehicle, and also there was a careless driving charge that came from this as well. We are going to continue to look into information here. We do know that the sheriff told us when he held that news conference that the two shooters here were not on law enforcement's radar at that point. We also know that there has been a search warrant that has been issued, and law enforcement is in the process right now of going through the vehicle of one of these shooters here. We're going to continue, as I said, to monitor this, but we did want to pass along the information that shows no significant criminal history for this 18-year-old suspect, keeping in mind that we do not have access to any type of criminal history for someone who is a juvenile. Back to you.
Following breaking news on Denver 7, 2 students at the STEM Academy in Highlands Ranch opened fire on fellow classmates. Panic and shock in Highlands Ranch and also across the state of Colorado.
And tonight, sources confirmed to Contact 7 investigates that 1 student has died, and we know at least 7 others hurt. And as we've been telling you, those 2 shooters are in custody, one an adult male and a juvenile male. They are both students, and we know that officers went room to room in that school to make sure that it was safe, and tonight, kids are still being reunited with their parents.
So again, this is at STEM Academy, a K-12 school, an enormous school. The shooting happened inside the middle school portion.
And we've been following this breaking news all afternoon for you, so we want to get out to Denver 7's Jennifer Kowaleski with the latest. Jen?
And Shannon, it has been an emotional and trying day here just in the parking lot. We're at the AMC 24, and if you take a look behind me where you see that one cop car, that is Plaza, that is right in front of the school, the STEM school where this happened. And I want to show you this video. This is video of just a few hours ago. You can see there were so many cop cars, ambulances, police responding to this scene. We did just get an update from the sheriff within the last hour. Sheriff Tony Spurlock described what he learned, what we know so far, and I want to break it down and kind of go back in time. We know that shortly before 2 o'clock this afternoon, there were reports of 2 students who walked in with guns into the STEM school. We are told that they got deep inside the school. That is the way the sheriff described it. He engaged students in 2 separate locations within the school. A number of students shot and injured. We know that there are at least 7 injured. We have now been able to confirm through sources, sadly, that 1 student has died. We are told that the school notified the dispatch center within minutes of the shooting starting. And 2 minutes later, Douglas County deputies were here. And the sheriff credited the quick response with likely being able to save lives here today. Now, we do know there are 2 suspects in custody, an adult male and an adult juvenile, both students. I asked the sheriff specifically, and he said current students of the STEM school. It is a K-12, so they've got elementary, middle, and high school, 1,800 students. This is a charter school here in Douglas County. Now,
This is a terrible event. This is something that no one wants to have happen in their community. We're going to investigate that, and we will get to the bottom of it to figure out how and what has occurred. Because we are likely to have a criminal prosecution in this case, there's not going to be a lot of information that is going to be shared.
As you just heard, that was Sheriff Tony Spurlock describing this as a terrible day for the Douglas County community. I mean, nobody ever thinks this is going to happen in their community, but this is one I've been seeing. I grew up here, a lot of anger because I think people are still in shock trying to come to grips with this. A lot of parents at home right now hugging their kids close. I mean, this has been quite a day, and we are still waiting to learn more information. As you heard the sheriff say, charges are likely. There are still a lot of pieces of this investigation as they work to get into that suspect's car, search warrants, and there are still a lot of pieces of this puzzle, but we've learned a lot more within the last hour. For now, we are live in Douglas County. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Jennifer,
Jen, thank you
very much. Take a look at this. This is cell phone video. This is just into Denver 7. It shows students huddling, hiding behind a dumpster there. Some law enforcement officers are start to arrive at the scene. You can see a lot of tears, others on the phone. Of course, we've heard all day long, and parents getting texts and phone calls from worried students. Look at that, hiding behind. The officers standing guard with their guns drawn. Look at that.
And as we've said, so many of these elementary kids do not have cell phones, so just the not knowing part, even if it was 2 minutes, 20 minutes. Just
We heard that one guy was an hour before you heard anything.
So much for parents to take and kids as well.
Of course, this is a day no parent, no student should ever have to go through. And even at this hour, this is, as we said, an enormous school. So parents are still being reunited with their children.
That's right. So let's get over to Jason Grenauer. Jason, I know one of our crews earlier spoke with a dad whose son was shot 3 times. Incredible.
And he was here at the local rec center picking up potentially another child that went to this school, just like more than 1,000 parents already have. You mentioned the 1,800 students that go from the elementary, middle, and high school level. They're still being reunited with some of these kids here. There were tears, there were a lot of hugs, there was a prayer circle earlier. The cars stretched about a half mile in either direction up and down Broadway. The parents that left here taking a big, deep sigh of relief knowing that their son or daughter is safe. But as you mentioned, we did speak with one dad who learned that his son was not safe. He was one of the people that was shot, injured, and taken to a local hospital. Take a listen.
He was shot. I talked to him. Thank God he's okay. He told me that he was shot like 3 times. So, and he's gonna get released from the hospital in like an hour or so. So, my wife is gonna go get him. So, and I'm just waiting here for my daughter.
Did he tell you what happened though?
Well, I think the classmate opened fire on the class in the classroom. So we don't know the name, we don't know who was, but he said he was. We saw shots from everywhere.
And that was our Tom Mustin speaking with that father earlier on today. The Red Cross also showed up as they would on a disaster assistance call here to the rec center. Now, since then, the parking lots have emptied out and there are much fewer cars on the roads. Law enforcement still only want parents here and people who are disseminating the information like we are right now. It's been a long day, a very long day for many of these parents, including that father. To the best of our knowledge, his son was released, discharged from the hospital. As soon as we learn more on that, we will pass it along to you. For now, reporting live in Highlands Ranch, I'm Jason Grenauer. Back to you.
Thanks. That very sweet hug in the background there with that father. And I'm seeing STEM shooting trending on Twitter now. In fact, the #1. And all of a sudden, we have another school that's name is now associated with gun violence, like Columbine, like Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. We have another school now, and it's right here in our own neighborhood.
Let's now go over to Denver 7's Jessica Porter. She's at Littleton Hospital, Littleton Adventist. We know that some students were discharged today, and Jessica, that is certainly good news.
That is great news. 3 students that were involved in the shooting with injuries were discharged. There's 2 other students with serious injuries who are still here at the hospital. We don't know the extent of those injuries and how they're being treated at this point. Littleton Adventist Hospital being very tight-lipped about their conditions. Of course, they want to protect patients' privacy. But as you can imagine, for those parents that are here and for those that took their kids home, this just must have been a very emotional day. Now, when we first got here, there's a total of 5 students that were treated here, but at first it was 4 students in serious conditions, so we were very glad that their conditions have improved and that several of those students have returned home. And just, you have to mention the hundreds of emergency personnel who responded to this shooting, multiple medical helicopters that responded, taking injured to area hospitals, and 5 of those students taken here. They've just done incredible work getting them here so quickly so that their injuries could be treated. We're still waiting to get more information. We want to know the ages of these students, their genders, and more information. And we're definitely waiting from the Douglas County Sheriff's Department to get more information about that. But from now, we're going to stay here and report live. Ann and Shan, back to you.
All right, because we do know at least that they were at least 15 years old. So it was the high schoolers who were mostly affected by this shooting, at least most directly. Let's move on to Denver 7's Liz Gilardi. Liz, I know you were arriving there, and law enforcement, the presence was stunning. It was massive.
Well, and we were right down the street from the school, so as you can imagine, the whole street was blocked off. Fire engines, ambulances, police cars, and also snipers on the roof of a building across from the school. But now that things have calmed down a little bit, what we're really seeing here at the school is an investigation that is really just beginning. A crime scene that needs to be processed, and also officers working on to get evidence from a suspect's vehicle that was left in the parking lot of the school. So we're seeing activity both inside and outside of the school at this point. But you know, one thing that's really standing out to me is the alarms that are continuing to go off inside the school that may have been triggered during the shooting. And standing here, it might be too faint for you to hear, but we can still hear the alarm going off inside the school right now. We do know that the FBI is managing this crime scene here at the school, and the ATF and Homeland Security are also assisting. They are working on some search warrants, searching the vehicle, and then also the houses for those two suspects. And really the focus is on processing that scene. We heard Tony Kovaleski mention that there was some concern about the vehicle because of tactical gear that was found inside, so they were approaching that vehicle with a lot of caution, and that might explain why we've seen so many ATF personnel here on scene, potentially assisting with that. We do know that the two suspects walked into the school this afternoon, and from what the sheriff's department is telling us, they were able to get pretty deep inside the school where they engaged students in two separate locations. So we know that police and investigators will be working to process those scenes. We know it's two classrooms, but we don't know exactly where they're located inside this pretty large school facility. So that's some of what we're seeing right now. Still seeing some police at times walking around with their guns. And then, as you said, when we arrived here, a huge law enforcement presence, probably unlike anything I've ever seen, especially with the snipers on the roof of a nearby building right when we pulled up, and we did see some of those medical helicopters taking off as well. So really, you know, we're unsure right now how long it's going to take police to process the scene. That's unclear. They have not said, you know, how long it's going to take, but it's probably going to take some time, especially as they're gearing up for now what they say is a criminal investigation and a prosecution with these two suspects that are in custody. So we'll continue to stay out here and just describe and bring to you the very latest as what's going on inside and outside the school. Reporting live, Liz Gilardi, Denver 7.
Liz, thanks. And we certainly can hear that alarm. We imagine that alarm is going to be ringing in the students' ears for hours, if not days, when they after they go to bed tonight.
We want to bring Jace Larson back into the conversation here, who's been researching and getting some more information about these the shooters. Jace?
Yeah, so we have been told by law enforcement the name of this shooter here, and at this point we are not saying that name, but I can tell you that this shooter, one of the two, was an 18-year-old student who was a senior at the high school there. This afternoon, law enforcement has been going through with a search warrant. The vehicle, they have obtained a search warrant for the vehicle of one of the shooters that was parked there at the school. They're trying to make sure that they do this investigation methodically here, and as they are working to look through the different opportunities that they have here to gather evidence, including that search warrant there, nothing is being ruled out at this point. They may obtain other search warrants. They may decide that they want to serve search warrants at homes. That would certainly not be out of the question in an investigation like this. I've been talking to our law enforcement sources all afternoon long here, and one thing that I'm hearing over and over from them is how law enforcement is giving such credit to the impressive quick response that so many deputies had who went into that school. Both shooting scenes were classrooms in the high school building of the Highlands Ranch STEM school. The suspects, one adult and one juvenile, likely were not expecting such a quick law enforcement response.
They were caught by officers running into the schools.
Sheriff Tony Spurlock says those responding deputies then engaged the two inside the school before taking them into custody. This while dozens of additional officers from agencies across the Denver metro area rushed to the scene to help. In what can only be described as a well-organized effort, every classroom in the high school building was searched and cleared within 25 minutes of the first shot.
I have to believe that the quick response of the officers that got inside that school helped save lives.
That quick response also gave law enforcement the ability to move very quickly in its initial investigation.
We're slowing everything down right now. We do know that we do not have any other suspects. We have all the people that are involved.
Right now, the classrooms where the shootings took place are being processed by agents with the FBI and the ATF. The sheriff is concentrating his efforts moving forward with the investigation into the two suspects, as well as searching their car and their homes, and of course, why they opened fire in their own school. Speed a little bit more on how this investigation is unfolding. The sheriff talked now about the need to slow things down a bit. That is because they want to build the strongest case that they can, strongest criminal case they can to bring these two suspects to justice. And they don't want to make any quick rush decisions. There's just no need to do that. They have plenty of time. In fact, law enforcement will tell you time and time again that in this situation, once they've gotten all of the victims that they can to safety, that time is on their side. Investigators believe that. So right now, there's intel units that are going through as much as people can find about these two suspects. They're searching Facebook and other social media just to learn all of the details they can. Though we did hear from the sheriff who said that these two shooters were not on law enforcement's radar prior to today. We mentioned that a search warrant has been signed and that they have served that search warrant on one of the suspects' vehicles. More search warrants will likely come throughout the evening here. And we can tell you that district attorneys are on scene and have been all afternoon to be able, in case it is needed, to get a search warrant written up just as quickly as they can. And there are judges on standby as well. And those judges, within 10 minutes, will be able to look over a search warrant, make sure that it is indeed legally prudent, and authorize that search warrant, and then get the information back to investigators all within 10 minutes so that there is no delay on the investigation in case something needs to be served immediately. We can also tell you that the deputies who have to swear when they put a search warrant before a judge that everything in that search warrant is true, that those deputies are being allowed to do that today, if necessary, over the phone, again, to speed up this entire process here. They just want to make sure that there are no impediments to this investigation, guys.
So, Jace, you said you confirmed the identities of one of these two shooters. Can you give us a little more information about why exactly law enforcement said to hold off on releasing it?
So law enforcement has not released the name. We have the name ourselves. We have made the decision here in the newsroom after consulting our news director here that at this point we are not going to say the name of this 18-year-old senior. I should mention that because we have the information, we were able to run a background check. We can only see a person's criminal background when they've become an adult. So anything that would happen as a juvenile is not something that we can.
Very good. My apologies. I thought you'd said law enforcement would ask you to hold off on releasing that name. Okay.
Let me just add, though, that the only contact that we found that this one of the shooting suspects seems to have had with law enforcement was an unsafe or defective vehicle ticket back in 2017 and also a careless driving ticket on the same date in October of 2017.
All right, so both of these suspects, students, both male, one adult, one juvenile, but both students at STEM school. We want to get over to Russell Haythorne, where the reunions continue to happen as students are bused from the school over to the Northridge Rec Center. So, Russell.
Yeah, and things are really starting to calm down here now. About an hour ago, Broadway here was essentially a parking lot. There were cars parked on the side of the road, and then vehicles weren't really getting through either, as parents and students are being reunited, are still being reunited at this late hour here at the rec center in Highlands Ranch. But again, this is good news as they're getting on their way now. Law enforcement going down the list of reuniting students with parents, and many of them are on their way home now after what can only be described as a heart-wrenching and horrific day here in Highlands Ranch. We have some video to show you from earlier today, and this is essentially the elementary side of the school being evacuated once law enforcement felt safe enough to go through that process. These are the elementary school students coming out of the west side of the STEM school with their hands on their head, and they were lined up on the west side of the school as they waited for school buses to take them to safe locations, in particular the rec center. All of those elementary school students accounted for, and they are okay. This event, of course, happened on the other side of the school with the older students. We talked to some parents who were at that location as well. Here's what they were going through the moments that shooting was unfolding.
I was at home just getting ready to come get the kids because it was almost release time, and one of my friends called me and said there was an active shooter, and I just hightailed it over here.
Can you believe it when that kind of call comes?
No, I can't believe that we have to live like this. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty absurd.
Yeah.
You know, this is too much. It's too often. We have a bureaucratic system that doesn't care, that cares more about the money than they do about the safety of kids' children. We lost this war when the Newtown kids were shot. When you allow babies to die, then you just don't care. And I think things need to change.
One of the more interesting things we heard this afternoon from parents is that in this day and age of technology, the parents were actually communicating with their children who were inside the school. Those high school and middle school students who have phones were actually texting back and forth with their parents. And then even on the elementary side, we heard from a number of parents who were actually texting back and forth with the teachers who had their rooms barricaded and were talking to the parents, trying to calm them down, telling them that their room essentially was barricaded and everything was okay. The students were in lockdown mode. So that offered parents some peace of mind in what was obviously a horrific and chaotic day. We'll toss it back to you guys.
You can certainly see the, thank you, Russell, the range of emotions for parents. I mean, listening to that father right there, you can tell that anger has set in, anger and frustration. I mean, relief at first, once you are able to know that your child is okay, but then just so much frustration.
That you just send them to school to learn things, not to,
should be
to be cowering.
The safest place on earth.
It should be the safest place on earth. And we have some incredible video that whenever we can get to it again, I'd like to show that really is such insight in what some of these poor kids are having to do today, literally hiding and hunkering down behind these huge trash dumpsters back behind the school with deputies with their guns drawn, standing around them to protect them. That was school for them today. That was school.
And so many of them with their heads together, their heads down, and it's heartbreaking when you see so many of these images.
Tony Kowaleski's been working the phones, working his sources. What do you got, Tony?
I got 2 points for you guys, and building on what you've been talking about. You know, many times after these shootings, we get into this thing called a what-if game. What if this happened? What if that happened? I think it's important to have this perspective tonight as you're thinking about this. These were 2 students at the school. We've reported they got deep into the school. Short of having a metal detector that they had to pass through, there's really no way of stopping the access they had. And that's critical as you start walking down that what-if game. Also, building on what Jace Larson talked about earlier. Sheriff Tony Spurlock is a sheriff that has focused on transparency. Back in December 31st of 2017, when one of his deputies was shot, this is a sheriff that within 2 weeks released body camera video and took us through all the details of exactly what happened and communicated and was clearly transparent to the public and to the community. He said, he kind of foreshadowed, because these 2 suspects are going to go through the legal process, that his ability to share information will be more limited this time than it was before. When his deputy was shot back in 2017, the suspect also shot, so the case was closed on that day during that hour. So significant points here. One, the what-if game, be careful. And two, this is a sheriff that's worked to be transparent and is signaling that he's going to have to limit information because he has to build that best case possible.
And he has already indicated that to us, where most recently said it's going to be a while before we send out more information. We haven't heard from him now since 4:50 this afternoon, so I suspect it will be a long night for those investigative teams. But you're right, so many lessons learned, particularly for Douglas County, which has been just hit so hard as of late.
And that doesn't mean we won't keep working the phones and texting and talking to our sources, but there is going to be a point where I think the sheriff is going to limit information, and we're going to have to find out when we go through the legal process.
Absolutely. And tomorrow at 1:30 in court for the advisement, we should get some more information in Douglas County court where these two suspects will appear for their first time. That's 1:30 tomorrow, Douglas County Court. A little bit of housekeeping here. Douglas County Sheriff's Office says if anybody who had a vehicle parked there at STEM, and that's not a small amount of people, this is an enormous school, you can go ahead and pick it up at this time. Go to the north entrance near the middle school part. Only the vehicles are being released, so you can't go back into the school and retrieve anything, just the vehicles that are parked there, but that all clear has been given, so you can go if you can make your way through that myriad of congestion there around STEM school right now.
And we had talked about some of the most chilling, I think, cell phone video that we're able to show you here on Denver 7, and here it is again, just because we wanted you to be able to see for yourselves just this, just so emotional and just heartbreaking, as we're all parents sitting here on this set to watch children who are hurting is one of the most I think one of the most difficult things to see as an adult.
You can see the officers there with the big guns drawn, standing protecting these students, because they don't know at this point when this was shot where the threat was, what it was, how severe it was, if it was still even going on. But you saw the students that looked like they were praying. Some were on their phones. Some were just hugging each other out of comfort.
One of the touching moments to me today was a parent who texted me, two kids in other Douglas County schools, and simply said, our kids shouldn't have to live this way. And that's what you're talking about, whether they were at the STEM cell today or STEM school today or other Douglas County schools on lockout wondering what's going on. Thousands of kids experience something you never want them to experience.
Exactly. I mean, we have so many questions, and think about these young people who are sitting there saying, how are my friends? How will I get through this? What is next? And what have I just experienced? And just feeling that raw grief that they are feeling today. And we did speak with a psychologist earlier who said this is a great time to have a conversation with your family members, whether you're a student, whether you're an adult, whether you live 60 miles from Highlands Ranch. This is when you have to have those conversations with your family members and get out some of that anxiety, anger, whatever it is.
It'll lie latent and come back to bite you. We go live now. Jennifer Kovaleski, who's one of our many wonderful staff members who have been out working so hard all afternoon on this, and Jen joins us live from Highlands Ranch. Jen.
Yeah, Shannon and Ann, we are still here at the AMC 24. Things are kind of starting to wind down. We've seen that. The sheriff signaled that in his press conference that, any more updates would likely be shared on Twitter, but we've seen them break down the mobile command center. Behind me, you can see there's obviously still a police presence. You can see those flashing lights off in the distance. That is where the STEM school is located, just off of this Plaza Road here, just up the road from the AMC 24. But if you take a look at this video, I mean, it was a completely different scene as this was evolving throughout the afternoon, just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. I mean, you couldn't see, there were flashing lights as far as the eyes could see not that long ago here on Plaza, and you could just sense the urgency, the activeness of what was going on as we arrived here at the AMC 24, and we're constantly getting those media updates, and there are still a lot of pieces of this investigation that they're still trying to figure out. But I did kind of want to talk about what I think, obviously the family families and the victims and those dealing with this that were at the STEM school, you know, we can't imagine what they're going through and that grief and dealing with all of that. But just in talking to other people in this community, being a part of the Douglas County community, my husband's actually a teacher. He teaches at Thunderidge High School, which I also went to Thunderidge High School. It's not far from here. And I was just talking to him, and he had a colleague who teaches at the STEM school, and he was just talking about how, you know, they were calling her. Luckily, she wasn't at school today, but it was a question of, you know, what does that mean? Is she okay? And having to go through that. And, you know, here, this was just down the street from Thunderidge. Those could have been his kids. Those could have been their kids. And I think there's just a lot of that going on right now. There seems to be anger. There's a lot of emotions. And this is just really tough for a lot of people to understand. And I think the big questions we still don't know. Sheriff Spurlock shared as much as he could, as Tony mentioned, because there were going to be charges, because there's going to be an investigation with this. There is going to be some information he's not going to be able to share. But I think, you know, the big questions we still don't know are in terms of the why, you know, why they decided this was what they were going to do. And that's obviously the question that everyone out there wants to know right now, including all of us, but one we may not learn for quite some time. And I also think, you know, there's the question of what happened with the struggle with the deputies. There clearly was some sort of struggle. The sheriff alluded to that during his news briefing. The deputies really reacted quickly, but exactly what happened, what transpired, what part of the school they were in. We know that the two suspects entered the school just shortly before 2 o'clock, just to kind of recap, and were able to get deep into the school. We're not sure exactly what that means, but you can allude to it. It's a large campus. They were able to go pretty far into the school buildings and engage students in 2 separate locations before deputies were there reacting within minutes of being called through dispatch, which sounds like that's a protocol that has been set up with the schools. Sadly, I think in the world we live in now, what do they call them? School shooting drills. I know my husband's gone through them. I'm sure many of your kids at home have gone through them. It's kind of a sad reality, I think we all say, of the world we live in today, but this is something that sadly I'm sure this school and schools in Douglas County and all across the state have prepared for it. And it sounds like, as tragic and unfortunate as the situation is, that those procedures were followed, and the sheriff did say that he believes the fact that his deputies responded so quickly that it likely saved lives here today.
And it's certainly a reminder.
I'll send it back to you guys, Ann and Shannon, and we're just...
Jen, thank you very much.
I know this is personal for so many people, and I think that this is a clear reminder of why it is that schools do these drills, and that we have to take them seriously. Our children have to take them seriously. Absolutely. Because Jen made a statement there of having to go through this. I mean, it is unfortunately not optional.
And also what she was saying, that, I mean, people are just saying there, but by the grace of God was my kid today. And because this is Highlands Ranch, it's not Kabul, it's not Beirut. I mean, this is supposed to be why people work so hard, so they can pay lots of taxes to have supposedly safe areas, and it happened here again.
And again, in a school, which should be the safest place on earth for our children. And our state lawmakers are also reacting to this tragedy today. In fact, we heard from the governor earlier, and here's what he wrote. We are making all of our public safety resources available to assist the Douglas County Sheriff's Department in their effort to secure the site and evacuate the students, which is ongoing right now, as you know. He goes on to say, we are monitoring the situation in real time. The heart of all Colorado is with the victims and their families.
And we also heard from the state's top law enforcement officer, Colorado's 39th Attorney General, who tweeted, as this zooms in a little more, not that we needed another reminder of the threats to school safety. He thanks the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Spurlock, this act of shooting at Highlands Ranch. Our hearts, A.G. Weiser says, goes out to the victim's family. A reminder, if you are just sort of plugging into today's horrible news, a student has been killed and several others hurt in this horrible school shooting at the STEM school there on Ridgeline in Highlands Ranch today.
And law enforcement still on scene there, going through the school. And we have Denver 7's Liz Gilardi out there as well, where there has been an incredible law enforcement presence at the school today. Liz?
Well, they're still on scene, and really this investigation is just beginning. We've watched the events unfold from the moment we pulled up shortly after the shooting with snipers on the roof of a nearby building to now more and more federal agents pulling up and getting ready to begin processing this crime scene both inside the school and also a suspect's vehicle that is in the parking lot. And we can still hear all the while alarms going off inside the school that may have been triggered when this shooting took place. Kind of eerie, standing here, hearing those alarms, seeing the crime scene tape, and knowing that a student lost his or her life just simply going to school today. I want to show you kind of what's going on and what we're seeing out here, beginning from this side of the school where you can still see several sheriff's cars blocking off the driveway. Some of the entrances here, we had some students show up a short time ago wondering if maybe they can get some of the belongings that were left either inside the school or in cars that were in the parking lot. So that's something that police are going to have to figure out as well, because obviously everyone just dropped everything and left, and there's no telling when they'll be able to get back inside the school. But as we continue, I want to show you kind of where we're seeing some more activity down the street here over on Ridgeline Boulevard, where the school is located. We're seeing a lot of law enforcement activity down this way. ATF, federal agents, and the crime scene is now being managed by the FBI. ATF and Homeland Security, they are assisting. They're working to get some search warrants and also working to search that suspect vehicle that was left in the parking lot. So they've been working with the district attorney's office on that. And again, as we're on air here, we're seeing some people walk up to the school, maybe trying to retrieve some belongings. What we do know is that 2 people this afternoon walked into the school and managed to get deep inside the school. Those were the words from the sheriff this afternoon during the press conference. He said they were able to get deep inside the school and they engaged students in 2 locations. So now as we're seeing investigators showing up and beginning to process the scene here, we know that there's probably at least 2 areas inside the school and maybe more that they're going to be working to process and as they begin their investigation. So really no telling, no word yet from authorities as to when the school, how long that might take to process the school, I should say, and collect that evidence. So again, we're out here live where that investigation is really just beginning. Reporting live, Liz Gilardi, Denver 7.
Liz, those people who we see behind you there, do you think they're just people who just wanted to come by and check out the school, or what's the sense that you get from those folks who are coming by now?
So we saw another group just before we went on air, and I was able to talk to, it was a father and son, and I said, hey, did you guys just stop by? Were you in the area? What's going on? And they said, no. The son said, I go to this school, and it sounds like maybe they were trying to retrieve some belongings that were left, possibly in a car during the rush to evacuate this afternoon. So that's potentially what it could be. Maybe some people showing up trying to get things that were left behind, because we really don't know when they could get back inside the school or retrieve those things. So I'm sure that's something that police will be working on, and maybe we can even find out or announce that for anyone who's watching who might want to get something that was left behind in the school.
We do have a little bit of that. People can get their cars right now, but that's it. You go to the north side there by the middle school. You can get your cars, but of course you cannot go inside the school and get your belongings.
So maybe that's what we're that's what we're seeing too, is people trying to get those vehicles. So that's kind of what we're seeing now is parents and some students walking up after, I can't imagine what must be an extremely difficult day.
It doesn't appear, Liz, that streets are blocked off any longer around that area, aside from trying to get into the school property?
So there's still some crime scene tape up here right by Blue Point Road and Rangeline Boulevard, kind of blocking off one side of the school building here. Eric, if you want to pan to kind of show them, this street right here. We're still seeing some crime scene tape, and that is still blocked off. Some other streets people are able to get around. When you first pulled up, it was impossible to get around anywhere near here. So they have opened some of that back up, but there is still a closure that is in effect.
All right, Liz Gilardi, thank you so much for that update from STEM School.
Yeah, so of course, so many times this is a campus of 1,800 plus. So think of all the calls and texts and worry that parents have had to deal with today. And we actually spoke with one mother who describes getting the phone call she got. I want you to hear this.
It was around 2 o'clock when he texted me that he heard gunshots. I think it was a little after 2.
Did he say anything?
He said he saw blood by the bathroom when they were leading them outside the building. He was calling terrified, scared, screaming, crying. I couldn't understand anything at first. He was okay.
Oh my goodness.
So we know that one student has died, 7 injured, taken to various hospitals, Children's, Skyridge, and Littleton Hospital, and that is where Jessica Porter is tonight. Jessica?
Yeah, the majority of the students that were injured in the shooting were taken here to Littleton Adventist Hospital. 5 of those 8 students that were injured were taken here. Of those 5, 3 have been discharged from the hospital. That's the good news. 2 of those patients are still here in serious condition. We're not getting a lot of information from the hospital about what their injuries are. We do know that all the students that were injured were over the age of 18, and that there were just a tremendous amount of emergency crews that responded to the school shooting in order to get them to area hospitals. We are talking about not just fire personnel, police, and of course several medical helicopters were used to medevac patients out to local hospitals. Again, we are not getting a lot of information about the students that are still here at the hospital, the 2 students, about their condition. We know that they are in serious condition. 3 of those students have been discharged. They are now home, safe with their families, but it's just hard to imagine that this is what these students are dealing with right now. The physical and mental impacts of the shooting. They should be thinking about prom. They should be thinking about, summer, but they are definitely all dealing with this very serious situation. And we're going to be staying here at the hospital trying to get more information about those students' condition, and we'll bring you more information as it is available. And Shannon.
Jessica, outside of Littleton Adventist, and it has been a couple of hours since we heard, but a couple of students were in surgery in critical condition there where she was, and we have not received an update on their condition. Also wanted to clarify, just to make sure we're being accurate, all the students who were shot, all the victims here were 15 years old or older. Just inadvertently had said 18 years old, so 15 years or older.
Now let's bring in Jace Larson, who's been working on this investigation behind the scenes. Talk more about what you're hearing from the investigators, Jace.
Yeah, we have learned through our law enforcement sources here that this is one of the shooters is an 18-year-old senior, and I want to show you a live picture right now of what we believe is one of the shooter's suspect's house that is being searched. You see a significant law enforcement presence right there as officials want to try to gather as much evidence as they possibly can. Let me tell you the general area where this is right now is West Highlands Ranch Parkway and West Wildcat Reserve Parkway, obviously in Highlands Ranch there. We've been watching law enforcement while right now they are not moving. We have seen them, with tape where they have really taped off the front of the house there. And I will tell you, look at the number of law enforcement that are there. We see other search warrants happen where there's not nearly that number of people there. So we believe that this house belongs to that 18-year-old student who is a senior there at the school. We're going to continue to watch this. Another thing that we have been seeing throughout the afternoon is what we believe law enforcement watching very closely a suspect vehicle that's parked out at the school. I spoke to a man who described himself as a relative of this 18-year-old. He said he didn't have information and that the family really didn't know information, and he and I spoke about 30 minutes ago or so. We will continue to watch what we're seeing here, which is the Douglas County Sheriff's Office cordoning off the front and presumably the entire house of this 18-year-old senior student thought to have been one of two shooters today. As they work here, they're also, as I mentioned, monitoring a car at the school. We know that they have a search warrant for that car at the school.
That wasn't me. Well, they might be,
bomb detecting roving around, but that still has not been resolved as far as we know.
Three major events happening right now as investigators do their search and trying to dig up information on these two suspects. The school is there's still a crime scene at the school that they're still trying to assess, and then the Northridge Rec Center where they're still trying to get families back together and account for all of the students and make sure that they have every child accounted for and reunited with their parents. Because this just was such a difficult day for so many families, whether you live in Highlands Ranch or you live in on the east west slope, wherever it is that you live. This has been a tough day for Colorado.
Because it could have happened to anybody. It was just school, and there was another shooting, and a student has lost his life. We had a wonderful psychologist in here on set with us a couple of hours ago, Sean Worthy. I believe he's also a professor at Metro State, and I think he had some wonderful insight about what we all should be talking about right now. I want to play a part of that interview.
Well, I think we have to talk about it. I mean, that's one of the things that is always helpful to decompress, decompartmentalize all this stuff that's going on. So you need to talk with your family. You need to talk with your kids. Have the discussion, not necessarily with the young kids. It's a different discussion, right? I mean, so if your kid is 4 or 5, 6 years old, that's not the discussion you want to have. You want to have the discussion about how they stay safe, because their world is small, and that's really what they're considering most of the time. But for the older kids, you want to have a discussion about what's going on, how they're feeling about it, because each child may react differently, and so you have to get a sense of what their experience of it is. It was really interesting on my way here. I was talking to my daughter, who's 22 years old, and I was telling her about what was going on, and she said, "Dad, that's not unusual." And she reminded me that she's grown up in a world where that's all she's known since Columbine, right? And so it's a whole different perspective, right, for them.
I think the important point that he also made was that it's not just a discussion you have tonight. This is an ongoing discussion. You need to keep checking back in with your children, making sure that everybody's okay.
And also, in the days to come, there will be additional people to talk to, different resources that the schools presumably will provide. And Dr. Worthy there said, take advantage of that. Talk to somebody. It can only do good, and you never know when this can creep back and affect you in untold ways.
And for everyone. I mean, again, not just the students, but for the teachers, the first responders out there. This is important for all of us to be able to take this information and try and figure out some coping skills around these situations.
And I want to mention that tomorrow, early afternoon at 1:30, at least that's on the docket right now, that these two shooters will be in court making their first court appearance, and we should get our first peek at some of the evidence and some of the things that the sheriff did not reveal today about the investigation, and also presumably get our first look at these two young men who have been arrested for causing such harm and chaos to STEM school.
And in the meantime, there are still reunions happening at the rec center, and that's where our Russell Haythorne is right now, where it seems that more and more parents have now left, or families have left now, Russell?
Yeah, and things have really calmed down here outside the Highlands Ranch Rec Center. About an hour and a half ago, it was a very chaotic scene, and Broadway was essentially just bumper to bumper, cars parked on the side of the road as parents and children were still being reunited. But now, as you can see, things have cleared out. That is certainly good news as families are on their way home at this hour. It was a chaotic afternoon down here in Highlands Ranch. We have some video to show you of those moments during the shooting when the elementary school students were led out of the west side of the STEM school here in Highlands Ranch, and they were led out with their hands on their heads, and they were all sort of lined up on a street on the west side of the school, and then they waited as the buses came to take them to safe locations, in particular the rec center here. It was definitely a heart-wrenching scene as those little kids were led out of the school. Some of them didn't even have their coats because they didn't have time to grab them, and it's a chilly day. So definitely a heartbreaking scene. We talked to a couple of the parents at that scene as well. Here they are in their own words.
I was at home just getting ready to come get the kids because it was almost release time, and one of my friends called me and said there was an active shooter, and I just hightailed it over here.
Can you believe it when that kind of call comes?
No, I can't believe that we have to live like this. It's ridiculous.
Pretty absurd.
Yeah.
You know, this is too much. It's too often. We have a bureaucratic system that doesn't care, that cares more about the money than they do about the safety of kids' children. We lost this war when the Newtown kids were shot. When you allow babies to die, then you just don't care. And I think things need to change.
Obviously a tough time for parents down here in Highlands Ranch, especially those two that you just heard from, because at the time that we were talking to them on camera, they actually both still had students inside the school and didn't know exactly the status of their children, where they were, how they were doing, if they were injured. So obviously a lot of raw emotion in those sound bites from those parents. But again, good news here on South Broadway as the rec center is starting to clear out and all of those students and parents have been reunited and are heading home. We're live in Highlands Ranch. We'll toss it back to you guys.
Russell, thank you very much. And you have some new information.
Just the saddest of information. I know we had told you earlier that a student has died in this school shooting, and the Douglas County Sheriff's Office has just confirmed that, saying it is with extreme sadness. We can confirm that one student at the STEM school was killed in today's shooting. And the immediate family has been notified, and the coroner has not officially identified the student other than saying it is an 18-year-old male at the school. So
wow. All right, guys. Well, it looks like it's slowing down now, so I just want to thank everybody, who've been in and out, hanging out with us here, and it was actually like really consuming for me, like, to cover this, and I don't know, it's just sad. It's really sad. These are kids. Kids, some of these kids, there's the one who died, 18-year-old, and then, of course, the injured, We know that at least one more is critically condition injured. They'll never be the same. And a lot even, as somebody who escaped, with all my limbs and everything, there's the unseen injuries, up in your head that a lot of these kids are going to have to deal with. And it's just sad all around. And I'm not coming to any conclusions yet, but I think one of the huge benefits of covering this from the second it broke, we were actually the first video up covering it, and we've been live since. And I think this is a good spot to end it. It seems like it's starting to, the reports are starting to die out. It seems like the car, there's no explosives in the car, but it's just, I don't understand why leave tactical gear behind in the car. The whole thing from 2 weeks ago with that woman that they were looking for that was suicided, that, that's odd as well, but we will have this video as a reference to watch it unfold and see if there's any anomalies. Hopefully this video doesn't get taken down. But if you were lucky enough to be here live, hopefully your memory will serve you. And, you know, it's all about getting to the truth here. So, I'm going to go have dinner with the family, and I will be live tonight. I'll be live tonight at 10:45, usually 10:45 to 11 is when we stop. So that's when we'll be doing the live call-in show. Obviously, I'll be mentioning this, a couple other things that we mentioned earlier in an earlier video, and there's one other thing I'm actually looking at. So we'll look into all that tonight.